Order.
Okay.
What's going on,
because his
everybody?
colleagues embarrassed him.
It's your boy PTK Blam here for the Shop Podcast, episode 327. Shout out to everybody live in chat, man. I missed you people, man. You guys are all beautiful. We did not have a show last week. And, this is actually perfect timing to come back and have like a return show for sure after this whole VGA stuff. And that's obviously what we're going to be talking about today. But, man, shout out to everybody showing up in chat. Talos, what's up, Sean 2, my out of the year, man. We got some great guests. We might have some additional guests coming through later. I might throw out some links. So, we see some familiar faces in chat. They might end up actually on the panel tonight. So we got a lot of shit to talk about. But shout out to you guys, man. Retweet that link out. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live 327, man. Come hang out with us. The best show to watch every Saturday evening, man. So let's get into it. But I'm not going to waste no time. We got some phenomenal guests here. As you can see, we are one man short, man. So we don't have, unfortunately, man, if we don't get the choo-choo train in the show tonight.
Yeah,
so we don't,
he's at the station.
Maybe
I guess
you can. I don't know. Is it possible you could replicate Pong or no?
Choo motherfuckers! Let's get this train rolling. Here we go. It's a podcast. You know what to do.
That's a stretch. I'm asking
Just set a record
lot.
for getting demonetized.
Yeah, right. That's a whole lot of energy. My bad, man. You already told me you got a headache.
You want me to tone it down a lot?
No, you good.
No.
Choo, here we go.
Choo choo, bitches.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Pong, man. Shout out to Pong. Wish he was here, man. We could with a lot of energy this week, but Pong has some prior engagements. But we're gonna keep things light and fun, man. Shout out to all you guys in chat. You guys are fucking phenomenal. What's up, Vic? What's up, Ghost in chat? What's up, Talos? How all y'all doing, man? But let's get to these guests, man. We got some phenomenal ones. As you guys can see, some familiar faces as well. But we're going to start with you, Mr. Mav, Fun Speculation. First and foremost, brother, shout out to the phenomenal live stream. I was in chat. I told you this pre-show. I was in chat all live stream. I watched the entire show from beginning to end. Fucking phenomenal show, brother. You always do a great job putting together a panel. Obviously the show was good. But how you been this week, man? Glad to have you on.
Yeah, man, still gathering back the energy from the other day. It's been a whirlwind the last couple of days, man. Yeah, the Game Awards, and we had a huge turnout for the co-stream because with the amazing community and stuff. And what a show that was. Better in some ways than others, obviously. But we're gonna have some fun talking about that. And yeah, it's been fun. We had a fun show last night too, kind of recapping things. But overall, man, it's just been a crazy couple days for gaming news and gaming in general. Like some amazing announcements, lots of games to be excited for. And we get to talk about it again tonight on the Shop, which is the best place to be on a Saturday night for sure.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. Shout out to you, Caitlin, for allowing him to hang out as well too. We got to make sure we pay the bills. Talk about the lady in the house.
Yeah, she took my leash off just in time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Whoa. Luckily, I did not rate this for children, so we're good. I think
okay,
good. So we can talk about leathers and leashes and things. No, but shout out to Caitlin, man. Appreciate you, Mav, on the panel, man. Always love having you. You're probably here at least maybe once or twice a month, actually, Mav. Like at this point, it's become pretty normal that you're on the show quite often. But love to have you here. The chat always love to have you here. We always get that FSP crossover too, because we share panel mates anyway, and then all of a sudden we get the love in the chat as well too. But appreciate you guys, man. Shout out to Mav for being here once again. All Mav's information is in the description. Please click on that. Show some love to Mav if you have not already. If you don't know what Fun Speculation is, go check it out. But once again, Mav, thank you, bro, for hanging out with us. We got a lot to talk about, man. And then our next guest, Mr. Retri. Retri actually hadn't been here in a little while, man. Mr. Game Pass Daily.
Been a minute.
Shout out to you, man. Yeah, it's been a little bit of time, man, but we always love to have you on here too. You guys got to let us know, man. I have favorites. I'm be honest with you. Like I do pick favorites. It's not a secret, man. Like I have favorite guests, and so you're on that list, brother. I appreciate you coming out, hanging out with us,
man.
Yeah, man. How you been?
I've been good. I mean, gaming a lot. I got that FOMO for Baldur's Gate, and I was hoping it was going to hit Game Pass, but it didn't. That's fine, whatever. I guess I'll play for a game. So I bought that thing like within minutes of it going live. But yeah, it's been good. The Winter Game Fest, as I think we're calling it now, because it's definitely not a awards game show anymore, was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty it was good for me at least. I don't know how it was for Sony guys,
Yeah.
but I was enjoying myself. So we'll definitely get into that, and yeah, it should be interesting, man. I'm gonna be talking to Randall Thor, the Black Viking,
Ooh,
and Colt
nice. Shout
Eastwood
out to
tomorrow.
Rand.
Yeah,
Ooh,
absolutely.
sweet.
So we'll be talking with those guys tomorrow about the same subjects we'll talk about tonight. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I love being here, man. PTK, definitely one of my favorite people in the community.
Thank you,
That's
brother.
why I try not to say, I try to come here as much as I possibly can.
Yeah,
I know
I
I
know.
said no a few times, but
It's all
I
good,
try to
man.
make
We
it as
figure it
much
out.
as I possibly can, brother. It's
we
always a
figure
good
it out.
time here. So yeah, and shout out to Fuzzy and Mav here. Love you guys, of course.
For sure.
I was just
Appreciate you.
podcasting with Fuzzy the other day, actually, on the Black Vikings new show. So
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to
absolutely.
Viking as well too, man. Good show.
Yeah,
Appreciate you,
that
bro.
was
Thank
fun.
you,
That was
Richard,
a lot
for
of
hanging
fun.
out with us, bro. Man, hanging
You
out,
bet.
coming out. It's really just a great week, man. This is one of them times where like you feel the entire community buzzing. So this is a really, really good week to be on the shop, brother. So thank you for hanging out with us once again. Chat, click on that
course.
link. All his information is in the description below as well, man. Go show some love. That's what we do here at the Shop Podcast, man. But like I said before, we are one man down, so I might be throwing out them feelers, man. So Steel, some of the other people, Asante, some of the other guys watching, hit me up. Let me know y'all want to get in here, man. We can chop it up too. But appreciate you guys, man. And last but not least, one of my right hand man, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. How you been, Fuzz? Man, it's been a good week, brother. I am busting at the seams, bro. I got so much energy this week.
Man, it's been pretty good as far as gaming news these past couple of weeks, and the Game Awards or the the secret Xbox showcase or whatever you want to call it. It was awesome to see, and man, just so much energy from all the stuff we got to see at that, and a lot of different topics to talk about. But man, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it's been a buzz about some stuff and not the right stuff or different things, and I was saying earlier on, or just before we went live, it's like, what's the over or under on Destin leaving IGN before the end of the year?
Yo, sorry about that, PTK. I didn't know we were going live.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
That.
It's all good, man. I don't edit nothing, so we gonna get all of that, brother.
But it's been great on even social media as sometimes as toxic as it can be or as funny as it can be. It's still fun, but man, a lot to get into. Let's do this. Awesome guest tonight. Shout out to Pong. Have fun with the family for the holidays and stuff. But man, let's chop it up.
Let's get in here, man. And once again, your boy PTK Blam. I'm glad to be back. I missed the fuck out of you guys last week. I hate missing podcasts, so it's always good to be back. You guys always welcome us back with open arms. We always have big shows after the hiatuses, so I fully expect this one to be a great show, especially coming off this VGA stuff. So we're jumping off the porch right away, man. And shout out to everybody who took part in the poll of the week. We won't be talking about that this week, but appreciate you guys. If you want to take part in that every single Monday, follow me on X, aka Twitter. Follow me there. That's where I posted. We talk about it here on Saturdays, most Saturdays. Although if the topic is big enough, sometimes we skip it like this week. So we're jumping off the porch, man. You already know we're jumping in head first. We're talking about the VGA'S, man. The VGA'S, the Video Game Awards, right? So I think we're gonna do a whole lot of defining math and retri that specifically this week, right? I think that'll be a big topic. We'll get into some of the awards, all the particulars, chat. And obviously, we want you guys to take part in this too. So let us know what you guys thought about the awards overall, and then we'll get into the particulars. But I kind of want to just rapid fire this, Mav. I kind of want to run this, aka like a FSP, Mav. I'm kind of stealing your sauce here, if you don't mind, this Saturday, brother. So we just gonna kind of rapid fire this off, and I kind of want to get you guys' temperature and you guys' temperature too, chat, on the overall in the show, like just what you thought of the overall show, and then we'll get into more of the particular stuff. So we'll start with you, Mav. Obviously, my brother, the cousin of the show here, man. I watched the show. Obviously, I saw your reaction live. Shout out to everybody who went and tuned into FSP Live when the show was live. But yeah, man, what do you think? Just the overall show. We're gonna get into the details, man. It's a lot of particulars that we're gonna get into, but just the overall showcase.
Man, overall showcase, if that's what we're calling it, showcase.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 as a showcase for sure. If you look at it as an award show, the worst job he's ever done. Yeah, I mean, by far. I mean, it came off as like downright disrespectful at times, and more and kind of about me, look at me, I'm Jeff Keighley type of show, right? And look what I've accomplished here and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of like arrogant permeating throughout that show, and like but overall, what I think most of us watch for is the announcements anyway. So as a viewer tuning in to see new game announcements and seeing the games that were shown, and there's so many by so many different studios, I came away super freaking happy, man. Like this show had everything you could want as a gamer.
Yeah.
Do we have wrap
it-
up music for Mav? He's going
Yeah,
too
No,
long.
no. We don't. No wrap it up buttons. No graphics. Sorry, Mav. We don't have any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all. I appreciate it. Have it. No, I like, man. Ultimately, it was great. There was a lot of surprise games. Xbox absolutely, I think, stole the show. They showed up big time. They've been the talk of social media ever since the Game Awards ended. That people are talking about either Kojima's game, or talking about Hellblade, or talking about Blade, and that's what they needed to do. I feel like, a lot of us felt like they were kind of slighted in some of the categories, where there were some games that necessarily didn't deserve to be in certain categories, or really kind of belong in certain categories. And some of those could have went to some different games, not just Xbox games, but some other games in general. But ultimately, we talked about the chance that they had to go and steal the show regardless, because they have such a huge pipeline and so many different things to announce. But then those rumors started swirling a couple days ago about this Blade game behind the scenes, and all of us were trying to keep it secret, and because we didn't know, like,
Terrible job, by
is
the
it
way. Some people just did a terrible job. of
Some-
keeping that a
some-
I
secret.
didn't
people
say
are like-
anything.
I'm like, what the hell is
I
this?
said
I'm like,
nothing.
yeah,
no, I know you. Listen, Chad. I'm not even
Well,
talking
I saw
about
you telling me to shh.
Oh yeah, no. I know. I did. That was
Trust
you.
me, I
did
wanted
put that
to.
in the- No. I know, but no. Some people just said it. Some people were just like, I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
this is
dude,
gonna happen.
What's
Yeah.
funny is I put a post out there on Twitter. I said some of y'all are already fucking spoiling it, and then I had people in there responding saying, "Man, that's messed up." And some of those people that said it was messed up were those people.
Yeah.
I was like, but I didn't want to say anything. I was gonna be like,
Mhm.
dude, you were one of those assholes who freaking let it out. And
Yeah.
but then if I said that, then everyone would go to their Twitter and automatically know it was Blade. I was like, oh,
Right.
dude,
You
come
can't
on,
say
man.
anything because the people are like, if these rumors about the Blade game are true, it's going to be crazy. And then it's like, no, you're not supposed to say it. You just like keep it to yourself, and I saw people saying it in some of the chats and stuff too, but like
Yup.
it was very few, it was only a few people. Most everybody was either like putting out little like cryptic hints or something, but like
I
not.
saw ACG with
ACG,
his, and then I
yeah.
saw I don't know if it was Pong or you, Mav, I can't remember, but other people started putting in Wesley Snipe movies after he
Yeah.
put in
I saw
his
that as
movie, and
well.
I'm laughing. I was so close from putting in Passenger 57. I'm like, don't do it, don't
Yeah.
do it.
I did one that was like, who's gonna hit it out of the park at the Game Awards, and I had Willie Mays Hayes from Major
There you
League
go.
on
Yeah,
there.
I did
Yeah,
something. It was Willie
Yeah.
May Hayes. That's what I say. Yeah.
but that was
was
like
good.
so
Slick. That was
cryptic and
slick.
stuff. I
No, that
felt
was
like,
super cryptic.
Yeah, that was super
So-
slick. Yeah.
there was I was actually mostly proud of the community for keeping that to themselves and
dude.
stuff. I think ultimately, like,
agree.
I mean, because it spread around quite a bit, and a lot of people ended
Yeah,
up
it did.
finding out. But there was only a handful of people who are like, I wonder if this Blade game is real or not. And it's like, oh my
Right.
god, you said the name, don't jinx it, because we didn't know if this was gonna actually happen. There's been several
Yep.
things that have kind of happened like this before, where everybody thinks that we got something or we know something, and then it doesn't end up being true. For example, Baldur's Gate 3 Game Pass
Baldur's
that was
Gate,
spreading around.
exactly.
A couple years ago, there's the Xbox Shrimp thing. Like all the acquisitions are going to be announced at the Game Award or at the Xbox Showcase or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. But this one turned out to be real. So when we actually saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's true. Holy crap.
Yeah.
The Blade game by Arcane. I mean, that alone is like insane. And that trailer is blown up on like Marvel's YouTube and on Bethesda's site and stuff too. So there's a lot of hype around that game. So I think Xbox did what they needed to. The Kojima shows up and shows off Xbox's game, and then Hellblade 2. I like that, like mind blowing that several people don't even believe it's freaking real. It's I think they ended up dominating the conversation. But even besides them, there was so many cool games to celebrate and that were announced at this show. The one that stood out to me mainly was the No Rest for the Wicked by
Oh,
Moon
definitely.
Studios.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
That game's
Oh
just
yeah.
screaming my name. I just got to get all over that as soon as it
Yeah.
drops, you know. So ultimately, great show. Keeley needs to really adjust things, take himself out of the picture a little bit. Kind of maybe it'd be better if he kind of operates things behind the scenes and hires somebody to kind of host and take the attention away from himself a little bit. Because it comes off a little bit like self-fulfilling, you know, at
Yeah.
times. Like,
Definitely.
here, look at
Self-serving for
me
sure.
with this
Oh,
person. Look at me with this person.
I
yeah, that
Look
was
have
at
clearly
this.
Hollywood
evident. That was
friends.
Man,
clearly evident. That was
Yeah,
clearly,
wicked
clearly
obvious.
evident.
especially
Yeah.
when the game of the year winner and other people that were having sentimental speeches and stuff trying to say something important only had 30 seconds. And, you know, they
Yeah.
weren't even like slowly, like the music. Like if you watch the Oscars or like something, you know, usually the music starts real quiet and they kind of build it
Slowly
up.
ramp it up.
But like
Right.
this was like when the 30 seconds hit, it's like da,
Yeah.
da, 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 get off the
Yeah.
stage.
They
You
went
know, like
full circus
it's like
carnival
it's
halfway
just like
through Alan Wake's
blaring.
speech.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they could tell they probably couldn't even hear themselves
Yeah.
talking when that music started playing. So
Yeah.
it's like, get off, wrap it up. It came across really disrespectful. And whose idea for only 30 seconds per award
That's crazy
was
to me.
just insane, bro.
You
And
know
there's
what's
not
even
that even
crazier?
many, you know? Yeah, go ahead.
You know what's
PK.
even crazier is the fact that half of the damn awards were just announcements.
Yep.
Like you
Yeah.
got these small independent
Yeah.
developers that did not get even an opportunity. They got no screen time at all. They didn't
Yeah.
even get a chance to get a speech, let alone the people getting cut off
Mhm.
halfway through their speeches. You got a lot
Okay.
of
I know
devs
he did some of that last year. I don't know if he did
yeah,
it the
but
year
like
before, but
he
this is like a new
bundled. He had like
trend.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he had
dude.
a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
bundled together, and I felt that was
Oh,
a bit
without a
excessive.
doubt. He do 3,
Yeah.
4 in a bunch. Like, and he did it multiple times. So yeah.
The other thing is like off-putting to me, like Christopher Judge, right? So like his joke,
Ugh.
whatever.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't
that's
necessarily care
whatever.
about
Yeah.
that. But here's the thing: like he got like 2 or 3 minutes at the beginning of the show to joke about himself last year. If you combine the amount of time he got to
Exactly.
make
man.
fun,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I knew that was coming. I knew
Mhm.
somebody was
make-
gonna
You
mention
combine them together,
of
he still can.
himself,
Yeah. Absolutely.
with the reason why everybody was going to be cut off short, you know, pretty much was his fault, you know. So you give him like 3 minutes up there to make fun of that and make bad jokes and stuff, and then the actual winners, that's enough to like for 4 or 5 different
Bingo.
awards, right? If you
Yep.
cut up like the 3 minutes he got, that's like I guess I don't. You're probably gonna have like 5 or 6 awards worth of 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Like the time that they
I
got.
have notes. I have notes on everything that they went too long on. They could have saved time. That would have.
Yeah. Like that whole, it was just
Yeah.
worthless, man, to have him do the joke. And then the person that actually got the award was actually trying to say something meaningful. Then they got played off in 30 seconds. Like, it's just like,
Right.
really, you know, that kind of stuff just kind of was disrespectful to me. I think he's getting it though. Like Keely's like getting a lot of crap from a lot of people in the industry. And even some devs. I saw like Josh Sawyer even make a post
saw
about
that.
it, and
Sure,
and some other people like kind of letting them have it about how they feel like this award show was not at all about
Mm-hmm.
the developers.
It's about Hollywood, man. No,
Yeah.
it's about Hollywood now. I mean, you had the Muppets, Matthew McConaughey, Hellblade live
Well, to be
performance.
fair to Matthew, he was in a
Kojima's
game.
speech is like 8. Yeah, but dude, like, did you hear him? Because I didn't. I don't. Unless
No, I
he's
didn't
really
hear- I
good at
didn't even
disguising
see
his
him in
own
the game.
voice.
I didn't see his likeness at all either. So yeah, I get it.
Right. Kojima's speech, that was like 8 minutes. Game Awards Orchestra, way too long. Anthony Mackie, too long. Alan Wake, live performance, too long. All that shit add up to like over 20, 25 fucking minutes that you could have easily given back to those devs. I'm sorry to swear, but that, I was just looking at how much like dead air and just like spaces where people could have actually talked. They gave more, like twice as much, actually probably about 4 times as much to a person who won content of the year who was using an avatar.
AI.
Yeah, the Iron Mouse. You know, shout out to her. I'm sure she's a great creator. That's not what I'm trying to get at. My point is, it's like, dude, she got way more time than Game of the Year. Think about that. Come on, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, there's definitely some things in this show that need to be fixed. Keely loves to hump the leg of Hollywood, and it's getting worse, dude. You see it every year. You know, we've had Pacino like limping out there. That's my hero, but he don't belong there. Like, he don't care about games. And then this year you had McConaughey and all these other people. I I think he needs to give at least more time to let the actual awards shine. We all know we're there mostly for watching the new reveals. That's why I'm there anyways. But still, this year was egregious. Like this year was obvious to the point where I noticed and I'm like, damn, this is a little messed up, man. Like, especially with the music, like Mav was saying, like 30 seconds in, they're already like cranking it up to 10. Like, get off my stage. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like there was too many places where this could get fixed. But all in all, like Mav said, I agree. Like this for me was a 10 out of 10 show for sure when it came to things that I enjoyed and things that I saw. Like there was just some really cool games that were shown. I mean, Sega is the one that probably maybe made me the happiest to see all the old IP coming back from Sega. But I don't know. We'll kind of do a round robin here and get everyone else's opinion. But I just wanted to, give my little rant about the Keeleys there.
No, that's good. I was getting to you anyway, so that's a perfect segue for sure. And I 100% agree. And I looks like Chad agrees as well. That's the sentiment that I saw just kind of across the board after the show. The general consensus of the show itself, the spectacle was good. Like, right, we got what we wanted to see. Lots of new games, new IPs, some updates, and some things that we wanted to see as well. All of that was great, but the substance, right? Like the reason why the show exists, seem to be lost, and it seems to get, like you said, further and further away from Jeff every year. He does seem to be highlighting more of the Hollywood, the blockbuster side of the industry, as opposed to the sticks and stones, which are the devs, right? So who kind of they carry the industry on their back. So it is pretty apparent, and that's kind of what I took away from. And like I agree with you guys, the show itself was like phenomenal. Like that part of it, I would say almost 10 out of 10. I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It wasn't perfect. I'm not a big fan of all the orchestra and the extra music, and like to me that just takes.
What's
away
weird though, like I like that Blam, but
yeah.
When it takes away from others, like I got no problem with that content.
Yeah,
it just here maybe like I don't know where the hell else you're gonna do it.
I get it, right? Like a lot of
everybody else.
A lot of the music and stuff is related to the like games, right? Like a lot of the stuff. Right. So I understand it does tie in. It's not like there's no place for it.
Right.
I don't. This is me talking, chat. So I don't particularly enjoy that part of it. I'll just go mute, on that part, and then wait till it's over, and then
that's bathroom break time.
Yeah, right.
Let's go get a snack time.
Refill your drink, whatever the case may be. Right. So that's kind of how I look at that. So a lot of stuff could have been cut out, in my opinion. I don't run these shows. I'm not the most creative person. I will delegate that to Jeff, but it seems like to me, Jeff seems to be getting further and further away from the point of the show. Which is the devs, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of devs that won some awards, a lot of these smaller devs that will never get the opportunity to be seen by 100 million people, right? Like that'll probably never happen again. And you kind of did not give them the opportunity to get that chance to do that.
Right.
So I guess that's my biggest takeaway as far as like takeaway from subtraction from the actual show. The everything else.
And a lot of them, they didn't get seen because they were literally, because like you were saying earlier, they just said it. Like four in a row, four freaking things in a row, and no one's even there to get the award. It's just it's kind of odd.
It's crazy. So I don't know. Maybe that'll change. Who knows? Chat. We need fucking ideas. We need to be throwing these ideas. We can't come together on half the shit we be talking about. We need to come together on this. Like we need to be throwing Jeff some ideas, man, because he need to tighten that shit up. I'm not. I'm not the biggest advocate. I'm not here running around with signs and shit in the street, usually for all of the devs. But this is one thing. Yep. This is one of the very few opportunities outside of some of the showcases like E3 and well, not E3 anymore, but the summer showcases that they get a chance to really be highlighted for all of the work and all of the shit that they deal with in between the time while trying to make these games. So I think that needs to be the most important thing, and it'd be good to see Jeff put the emphasis back on that. But we had Steel slide through. I don't know if you guys, the smooth criminal Steel Rain slide through.
Oh man, I'm nobody, man.
Oh, cut it out.
I'm nobody, man. I'm just trying to fight people's internal monologues, man. That's all.
So we got to get your take on this show, Steel. I saw you on the show. I know you was part of the show, bro. Great job as usual, Steel. As great job this morning as well. Great show.
Thanks, man.
You and Paul.
Short show, but for sure.
Yeah, a little bit short, right?
How short was
short for you?
Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, that's normal.
That's
That's
hella
that's
short.
every podcast for me.
Well, I mean, we were 2 hours in, and I felt like, damn, we were just getting
We
started.
just did the
so-
intros.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
going
right.
on?
Just got through the intros, right?
Talking about the
Goddamn.
day before Avatar. We were talking about games, man. It's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah. But how you doing, bro? I mean, obviously the show. Glad to see you first and foremost, bro. Glad to see for you to slide in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man,
Shout out
I'm
to Bat
doing-
Signal, but
appreciate
how
that.
overall, bro? So we didn't get into the details yet. Still, we ain't got there yet.
Okay,
We're still
okay.
early in the show, but just your general takeaway from the show.
Yeah, man. I saw you sent the Bat Signal in the DMs. I just checked Twitter and I was like, oh, I got a message. Who is this from? And it was PTK, the fellow brother. And I was like, oh man, I know my brother Pong ain't on the night. Let me slide in here. But overall, since that's what we're speaking on right now, the TJs was dope. I thought it was a 9 out of 10, bare minimum for me.
Same.
The only reason I don't give it a full 10 because it wasn't perfect. Again, I felt like the show was too long. I felt like it was an hour too long. There has to be some way to break things up. I heard you kind of speaking on that. And that's something that I spoke on this morning. You have to separate the awards from the game announcements, right? The E3-ness of it, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. The only reason I say that is because someone like myself who's been out here preaching that gaming as art should be treated as such. Shout out to the homie Everborn who said it one time, and I guess it stuck with me and he never said it again. But gaming as art should be treated as such. And if you want to really take that to heart, you have to give these devs time to talk about their games, right? The most impactful game, for an example, was that Tales of Kenzera Zhao game.
Yeah.
That dude who said his pop,
love
his
that
pop
one,
passed
dude.
away.
Love it. Yeah,
and he wanted to make a game. He was a gamer and he wanted to make a game kind of to
Mhm.
Immortalize his father, right?
And that was his
heritage.
therapy as well, too. That was a way
Right.
for him to get through.
Exactly, which I found was super dope. And it was just like, he was given proper time, right? I feel like maybe he could have had a little bit more, but I felt like that was paced really properly. Why didn't the Baldur's Gate devs get kind of the same thing? As much as I may feel like, Baldur's Gate, it was made with the community. I don't really give it that, it's the greatest game of the year kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is, it is. People talked about it. Those people worked on that game as hard as they did. And again, the fact that they brought the community in, I think speaks to their overall mind, right? Because Baldur's Gate is more so centered in that D&D, and since I'm not someone familiar with D&D, I wouldn't be able to speak on how this game needs to be made or what we need to do to make this game successful. So it's super dope that they kind of pulled their own pride out and said, look, we're going to build this with the community. So but they should have been given time to really, because you saw those heartfelt moments, especially earlier on in the show when they talked about the people that passed and all that stuff. And it's been a wild last few years, guys. Like, where is the human element to a lot of these things that when we talk about them, right? And again, look, I mean, I know most people are probably there for the trailers, the games, and all that good stuff. But I just think that there has to be a separation. Maybe at the end of the year, you do this is going to be my dev-directed Game Award show. Maybe I throw in a few kind of things just to really keep people engaged and get them excited. But my main focus is to make sure that the devs get all the flowers that they deserve for the year. And then come January, end of January, middle of January, that's when you do your actual your E3-like content where you hit us with 2 hours. Obviously, you had the content. But at that point, you hit us with that 2+ hours of just nonstop games, and you brag about, I'm Jeff Keighley. These people gave me these games to show to you guys. Aren't I important? Like that would be the time to do that. And I think that would be something that he should take into consideration, whether he hears this or not. But I think that's where they kind of could have picked it up or made things.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is, and this is something that I noticed about Keeley, bro. He hit his either show, right? The Summer Showcase, because that's his other baby as well. We can't forget about that. Right. That Summer Showcase, right? And then this show, the VGA'S, these are his two babies. They seem to have identity issues. He doesn't really know what he wants them to be yet. He hasn't figured out, like, he's trying to turn both of them into E3. You can't do two E3s. Like, you got to figure out what's what. If you're going to call one an award show, you have to, right? Like, you emphasize the award part of it. So that's one thing I definitely noticed about the Summer Showcase as well as the VGAs is that he's kind of having a difficult time like giving them their own identity. You know what I mean? Like figuring out what they're actually going to be, and you can see it in real time happening. Like, do you want that to be the Oscars, or do you want that to be E3?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, do you want to highlight Hollywood and like its relation to gaming, or do you want to like the actual devs that make the games? Right? Like
You
he's
just
trying
said
to
it.
juggle.
He wants to highlight Hollywood, man.
Yeah,
He really
right. Like,
does.
and listen, we got to understand there's logistics that count on all of this. We can't be naive, right,
Yeah,
man?
I mean, I get it. I get
Somebody
why
got to
he's
pay the
doing it.
goddamn
I mean,
bills, right? Like,
it brings in the audience. It's
Yeah,
not.
and-
It's not. I'm not saying like it's stupid. It's good
No,
marketing.
yeah.
Like the guy knows what he's doing, but it's in your face now. You know what I mean? We're seeing it. I mean, this show is not 3 hours. It's technically 3.5 hours because we saw a bunch of in the intro part of the show for the first half hour. We saw a ton of those awards given away. Like, think about that. It's almost like they were throwaway. Like, while the timer's going down for it to become the actual show, there's awards being given away left and right. It's literally so they can get them out of the way for everything else.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels a little disrespectful to these guys who worked years and years and years on this stuff. I think to not give them the proper shine, in my opinion.
See,
but
my other thing too, though, and I'll end it here for at least from my opinion thus far on the overall side of things, is that as many people like it is fair to criticize. You should be able to criticize anything, but as many people that criticize it, I don't hear enough people coming up with solid ideas or even stepping on the ledge, except for a few of us.
oh,
out in
you
the
missed
community.
it. You missed me earlier. I had a whole
Oh,
fucking
you had the
thing
whole-
on.
No,
I
yeah.
had
You got-
every
listen,
single
Reggie's next
thing.
in
I had a
line.
list.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had a
Retcher's
list.
next
He
in
got it,
line.
bro. He got Excel spreadsheet.
But
Like,
I don't mean
Yeah, I
just
do.
us. I don't mean just us.
But I know what you're saying.
because not we don't have the connections necessary. Like we can't just reach out to Phil
Yeah.
or just reach out real quick to Insomniac and be like, "Yo, Insomniac, let me get your next trailer real quick so I can show it to 100 million people." Right? Like we don't have that power, but there is other people in the industry that do have that power and probably could at least offer Keeley some competition so that he can look at things differently. Because maybe that's what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
E3's out the window. I'm the one stepping
well,
up
this
here.
is the
And outside
thing.
of that,
We have award shows. You know, BAFTAs.
Yeah.
We have other DICE awards. We have
Joysticks.
other joysticks. Those are just
Yeah.
smaller independent shows.
Joystick-
They don't have the Hollywood part of that. And that's where
Yeah.
Jeff
No
comes
glitz
in.
and glass.
Jeff
right,
connects
right.
video games and Hollywoods. Unfortunately, he's like the DJ Khaled of video games. He's like he's the only one. He's the
We
only
done
one
won
that can
Best
connect
Award.
both. Like he's literally he's the
That's
only
funny.
one that can connect both. So unfortunately,
Yeah.
those other award shows, they may be more critically. People may weigh those awards more critically, but they can't call fucking Keanu Reeves and get him to come out there and point at
Yeah,
everybody.
probably not.
So
True.
I mean, there's a legit, but we're gonna go ahead and throw this over to you first. We'll get into some of them other
Yeah.
details. Shout out to you. Great take as well. Still appreciate you coming through,
Much
brother.
love.
But let's throw this over to you too, Fuzz. I mean, you
Yeah.
obviously watched the show. You were part of the panel. Mav had the fucking all-stars out there. It was great, man. You
Yeah.
did a phenomenal job, brother. I love the show. I rewatched it twice already. Anyway, but
Thanks, man.
not a problem, bro. But yeah, Fuzz, where you at on just the overall show? We'll get into some of them details here shortly.
Well, I when Keeley put the report card thing out there, I gave it a B. And the only thing that really took it down from an A was the fact that it's an award show that had, game trailers and unveilings and things like that with a sprinkle of awards mixed in kind of thing. And like kind of like what Steele was saying, we have to come up with realistic ideas as far as what would be a good alternative for the competition to possibly, help mold or help him reshape this. But for me, like the 30-second window just seems odd. And I know in the past they've probably had time limits, and I know with Hollywood they have time limits, and some people go over and you allow it, and some people don't, type of thing. But anything short of 2 minutes, like if you give any of the nominees like at least a week advance, if not 2 weeks advance notice, hey, you're a nominee, in case you win, you only get 2 minutes. Put your, acceptance speech together, and not everybody's going to win, obviously, but if you at least give them a heads up, they can have their little cue card that they can have in their jacket pocket or their blouse or something like that, and be ready, and let them know that the music will start, not full blast, but the music will start at a minute 30. So you got 2 minutes, minute 30 music starts. That's for everybody. I don't care if you're Kojima. I don't care if you're, new independent studio that just started two weeks ago. That's what everybody gets, and stay consistent on that. Now, as far as when it comes to the presenters, I don't understand why Gonzo's there. Like, if there was a Muppet
Thank
game,
you.
sure, have that
I
Muppet up
mean-
there. But like the pots that they had like the other years when Elden Ring was a thing. Okay, that makes sense because it's tied to Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a game that's up for a game of the year. Blah blah blah. There's nothing Muppet related. Like we're all adults now, I'm pretty sure, and yeah, we may have grown up on the Muppets, but why are they at the
I
Game
fuck
Awards?
with Gonzo though. We can't go too crazy on.
I mean,
Gonzo.
we
True.
love, we love
Not really.
Gonzo.
Yeah,
I got
we love
crap for
Gonzo.
saying that too, Fuzzy. I said,
Yeah,
what the
that's my
hell?
guy.
Come on,
We gotta be
Muppets, and
careful.
people came at me.
He towing the line,
Well,
Fuzz. He
the
towing the
problem-
line, man.
The problem,
I
like
rather-
the Fuzzy's point though, is like you have that where Jeff Keighley gets to be on camera making jokes with Gonzo.
Bingo.
But then the
Yeah.
person that wins the award directly following that
Yeah,
gets ushered
Bingo.
off in
it's
30
the
seconds.
posturing.
That's
right?
exactly
It's the
my
That's
point. Yeah.
the
posturing. I get it.
contrast, right?
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
hates the Muppets, right? It's taken away from everybody else. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
problem.
And I'm kind of fine with the musical stuff as long as it's tied to games that are either up for awards for that category, or if it's like with the Hellblade 2 trailer, where it's part of the music is leading into this unveiling of the latest trailer. All of that stuff makes sense. They got to figure out like what's pre-show worthy and what's main show worthy, and get a better system.
Yeah, that was strange, Fuzz.
Yeah, like and I don't
They
want
did
to
the
take away
exact
from
same
the
thing
esports.
last year. They did the
Yeah.
esports and all that stuff in the beginning of the first half hour because nobody cares.
Yes,
That's-
well,
and they did it
see,
again.
that's the
Which is
thing.
fine.
Like, I understand the importance of esports within the gaming space, but they have their own award show to some extent.
Right.
I'm not saying just kick them completely out of the game awards per se, but I don't know if it's if anything can be on the cutting floor. And I don't mean to take away from content creators or esports, but that should be the stuff that should be cutting floor stuff if you're wanting to make the focus and the tie-in between Hollywood and gaming, because we're starting to see how this trend is becoming, the transmedia between like The Last of Us or Fallout or Blade now, things like that. If that's the things you want to highlight, spend more time on that stuff, but try to keep it within some sort of balance. Like I know Kojima's his BFF. I understand the
kidding.
importance of that
Jesus.
game, but that's a lot of time that was allocated for him, and having a translator. Like that's another thing, to the point where
What he didn't need. Why does he have a fucking translator?
I mean, yes, I
Please,
understand.
somebody explain that to me.
Yeah, I mean, Kojima is pretty good when he's
He's fine. I've
Yeah,
heard
like-
him.
No, but that's another thing. Like if you want to step up your presentation level to be on par with like an Oscars, he's not one that needs a translator. You should have the closed captioning or like the actual translation on screen for everybody that's there, as opposed to having him say his spiel and then having a translator say the spiel. Like there are ways you can narrow down the time and have everybody understand what he's saying in real time now. Like we do have that technology, but for an award show, it needs some work, and he needs to balance it better. Like they talk about balancing issues in games, he's got a balancing issue in his award show, and he needs to figure out if this is to still be called an award show, he needs to spend more time focusing on that in a more balanced fashion, not have Judge up there making jokes. I mean, yeah, it's fine if you want to make jokes. That's fine.
I ain't gonna lie, I laughed at that, and I really like that campaign.
But keep it to like the 2-minute window at max, so the other guy can have his 2-minute window as well. That's all I'm saying. Like you can't have him have 4 minutes, and then everybody else combined later is barely reaching that 4-minute mark. So, but the unveilings, like. And I joked about it at the start of the show. It's like, who knew Xbox had a secret showcase when everybody was talking about the PlayStation secret showcase? But it was just phenomenal as far as seeing not just platforms show up and have some of their upcoming content on stage, or at least some updated trailers or unveilings and things. But a lot of these studios have like amazing looking games that are either set for this coming year or the year thereafter. And that was like the big draw, I think, for a lot of us. as well as that's going to be the eye openers for what might set the stage for 2024 for the award show or 2025 for the award show. So he did an excellent job in that regard, but there just has to be better time management. I know people hear that term and it's like it's the most hated thing, but time management, whether it means he gets somebody else to kind of be him behind the scenes to regulate that stuff, or that somebody he can trust that will, give him that wrap it up B kind of, presence in his ear with his earpiece when he's dragging stuff too long. That needs to happen. Like, whether you like the guy or not, it's fine. He can be the face of the award show, but even he needs to kind of stick to that same, format of timer where if you're dragging beyond 30 seconds, then your music better start playing for you as well. And you got to have a team that feels comfortable in doing that and not feel like they're going to be fired for doing so. So just some small tweaks here and there, but overall, from a viewer standpoint, it was awesome. If I was a dev, especially if I was a nominee, I might not want to bother even attending next year, kind of thing, until things are fixed, kind of thing. And that's just my personal view on it. But it is what it is.
No, for sure, man, and that's a great point of view, man. And I know we've kind of highlighted just kind of the umbrella, the overall consensus feeling of the show, man. And I think we've all kind of come to the same conclusion. As an actual video game showing, I think it was the best showing by far that he's had up until this point, which kind of I want to throw Jeff a bone here because he is the only one attempting to do this. So we don't have anybody else in this space. So he is kind of the only guy standing at the top of the hill. So he does get credit for that, right? You got to dare to be great. So he does get credit for attempting to give the video game industry some type of legitimate award show. So I got to give him credit for that. We could talk about the particulars all day, but we here for these games. And I want to get into some of these, just kind of the meat and potatoes of what you guys fucking saw. Because I saw a lot of goodness. I saw a lot of finger-licking good games that I'm going to be really, really happy about playing later on. Some sooner, some later, but a whole lot of shit, man. It was something for everybody, and I think that's the main thing that I noticed. I'm a big variety person. I love a lot of different stuff. You never know what you enjoy until you try it. I'm big into that. That's why I love Game Pass. Shout out to Game Pass. It gives you the ability to do that, at a very, very low cost. But we're going to start with you on this one, man, because I need some of your we'll do our top 3, bro. Just top 3 trailers or just top 3 games that were shown for you.
As far as the way the trailers came across, or is just what am I most excited
about? What you're most excited about. We'll say that.
Okay. All right. Blade. Absolutely. I mean, I'm a Marvel guy. I love MCU stuff. I love all that kind of crap. Right. So when we found out Blade was real, that's like the biggest moment of the show right there. Just hands down, nothing can come close to that. Knowing that Arcane Leon is doing it, but doing a different kind of game than we've done before with a third person action style. I like the vibe of the trailer too. Also being set in Paris is going to be interesting. Like, there's so much about that game that just has me super intrigued, even though we almost know nothing, right? But what I know is enough to get me super pumped.
Dude, I love the energy of the the little interview. He's pumped, bro. He's out there doing karate kicks.
The director,
the shot of the camera,
Dingo, right?
Yeah, he's up there hype. Yeah, he's hype, bro. I love his energy. They seem very. And the good thing is that you see how excited the Marvel representative, he seems really excited about the pairing as well. To me, that speaks volumes on they feel like they got the right developer to make this game.
I like when games are announced that way, when you actually have the creators come up and kind of give the passion behind how they're excited to create it, right? And because it gives you this element that, hey, these people are passionate about this project. You know what I mean? It's not like a big corporation that's just trying to suck our money out of our wallets and souls. Like, this person really wants to make this game, And when you see a game presented that way for the first time, obviously all the business stuff still exists, and everybody's gonna make a ton of money off of this. But you see the passion behind the creator. I mean, he literally did a karate kick at the end, it was insane. But then Marvel too, kind of putting their stamp of approval with Arcane there as well was is a good message.
You know what, too, man?
So. Yeah,
you know what so a lot of people worry, and this might be something that we could get into. Maybe you could get into this, Mav. For a long time, people thought Marvel was gonna just be a Insomniac factory, like that was gonna be it. Like Insomniac was gonna be the only person making Marvel games. It felt
Yeah.
like that at least for a while, and this is a big, almost I won't say sigh of relief, but we assume Microsoft had a conversation because you look at Sea of Thieves, the whole Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. There's clearly a relationship between Microsoft, Xbox, and Disney. They've
Yeah.
always had a relationship.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, obviously. So they've always had a relationship, but there was no Marvel tie, right? That was the one people were waiting on. So to see this kind of like, oh, what? So they did, like they are talking about this stuff does come up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the people that thought like Marvel was just like this Sony exclusive thing were just not paying attention to the industry, like really, like because you saw that about like, oh, Sony's got Marvel in the bag and stuff, but like we got Midnight Suns last year from
Mhm.
2K. We had Guardians of the Galaxy the year prior from Square
EA's
Enix.
doing Iron Man.
We had the Avengers from Square Enix. Yeah, you got Skydance Media, Amy Hennig Studio doing the Captain America / Black Panther game, right? You got EA doing Iron Man, all these different Marvel IPs. Like they're just like letting everybody like who wants to make a Marvel game, right? So when we were talking about it for a long time, we were like, is Xbox or Microsoft willing to do that? Because the only reason to the contrary to the thought process would have been the last generation's thoughts when Phil made comments that they like to only invest in IP that they own, right?
Yeah.
But since they've expanded so much, they've gotten ZeniMax Bethesda since then, and with ZeniMax Bethesda, they got Indiana Jones, right? But then also now they got ABK, and Activision had a long history of doing licensed games in the past as well. So the thing was like, do they have so much now and so many different studios that pressure to only invest in those kind of IPs is gone? Because now with Game Pass, you can literally make other things that have their own audiences and bring them in to become subscribers to the ecosystem, as opposed to the previous model where you're only investing in the things that you need to build up the brands for, right? So now you see this transition, and we got the first big evidence of this with the leaked documents in the ABK case when we found out that Microsoft restructured the deal with Disney for Indiana Jones, right? They restructured that deal to be exclusive and it's going to be in Game Pass and everything. That came out because of the whole case. So that's already behind the scenes stuff. Now, when we saw that, and we also heard rumors that ZeniMax Bethesda had another licensed game, it was just which one? Is it going to be Marvel? Is it going to be another Disney thing?
On the document,
Yeah.
it just said like license IP or something.
Right. So, I mean, we knew that they were doing something somewhere at ZeniMax Bethesda. We just didn't know what it was going to be. And then this came out. I just never would have dreamt of a Blade game, which is absolutely amazing, dude. Like, I think it's a great fit for the studio too. So, there's going to be more Marvel games kicked off from different studios. They're looking for different partners to do different things. And I hope that continues because I love this like variety of stories and styles. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was an amazing game to me. I absolutely loved it, but then we also have Spider-Man, now we got Wolverine coming, but you also have Blade, and then you have the Captain America game and all this stuff. So for me as a gamer, like I'm super excited, like it's I think there's been too much focus from a lot in the community about like Sony kind of having that Marvel thing just because of the one franchise they were doing, which was Spider-Man, with literally ignoring the rest of all the Marvel stuff that exists in video games, right? So just because Spider-Man was good, but now we're gonna get to see them get some competition in that space with like that lone character kind of focused narrative based game. Because this is gonna be it's action, adventure, third person. They said like cinematic storytelling, simulation, all these kind of things. So
kind of emphasize you choose your own path, kind of
Right.
like so you'll be Blade and you'll
typical
maybe heavy
arcane, right?
customization, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I think it's a good fit for the studio. We got to see. I mean, obviously they got to deliver, but they haven't really missed critically from Arcane Leon before because they're the ones with Dishonored and Deathloop, right? So we'll see what they do. I'm super excited for it. But besides that one, again, No Rest for the Wicked.
Definitely, bro. Oh
That's
my god, bro.
that's my number 2. But Moon Studios has done great things with Ori in the past, and we knew that they're making a different kind of game. this time, but to get an ARPG that looks as gorgeous as that looked, it just screams for me to play it. I have to play that game as soon as possible. It's going to be a long wait for that one. The graphics and the cinematics and then the gameplay just all
man. Oh
stunning, man. It was
Yeah.
just fantastic. And then for the third one, I mean, the obvious would be Hellblade 2, right? Just because of how mind blowing it will be, but just because I want to kind of shake it up a little bit, I'm going to take one from Jasper and say the Exodus, made by the former
Yeah.
Mass Effect
Yep.
developers.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting to see. I'm all for these big space
the
epic
Matthew McConaughey game, right?
RPGs and stuff.
Yep.
That's the Matthew
That's the
McConaughey?
Matthew.
Yeah, so we don't know what it looks like yet, really. I mean, we kind of just have the basis, but like I think a lot of BioWare talent left, and they've kind of spread around to different studios now. So if they can take the core essence of what made a great BioWare game from the past and put it into this, then I'm 100% in. It's got those vibes right now already, so I'm more like I got my eyes on it. And I'm really interested in it, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Hellblade 2 is going to be a home run. It's like
for
the slam
sure,
dunk,
for sure.
So that
100%.
would be like the other one if I needed to pick one. I think Hellblade 2 had the best showing.
I agree.
Like it just like
Yeah.
it just was like, oh my god, holy
Face
crap,
melts, bro. Yeah, definitely.
it's insane.
Definitely. Okay, so that was your 3 essentially, right? That was your top. Well, 3, 4-ish, right? You had a kind of an honorable mention.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave Hellblade out because like, but also like I'm trying to think about all these other games and stuff too, because there was so much at the show, bro. There's just so much.
So I'm gonna throw my little 3 out here just to get my ass out the way, because I know we got a whole lot to talk about, but I'm gonna throw my 3 out here. Blade, obviously, right? You kind of walked that whole list down. Blade looked phenomenal. Obviously, we had heard about it. Some people just spilled the beans. Some people just could not, hold water at all in the palm of their hands and just had to say something. But ultimately, it was still a great surprise for a lot of people. I was still surprised that it actually showed up. I think the reality is what still surprised me, right? We hear a lot of shit, especially being content creators.
Yep.
Man, we hear a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff gets in our DMs, and not to brag or anything like that. It's just kind of the nature of when you're a content creator and have a show. Like
a lot of those things didn't come true.
And a lot of stuff does not come true, right? And so this is the fact that it actually like showed up, I think was one of the big things for me. Obviously, Blade being Blade, I'm a huge Blade fan. It being in Paris, I understand that connection with the movie Paris. There is a real connection there with the Blade story as well too. So go do your research. I like that whole aspect. They seem passionate, and Marvel doesn't just pick anybody. I understand they're taking bags from a lot of people, but I like to think I feel like Spider-Man kind of set the bar, and hopefully that's kind of the bar that they continue that they want their game to continue to be at. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, I'm assuming
quick, PTK, I don't mean to interrupt you, but to your point there about Marvel being selective, right? Like we've heard about this before. Like a lot of this kind of comes from Marvel first. They went to Firaxis because they were fans of XCOM, right? They went to them, right? I believe they went to Insomniac as well for Spider-Man. Like they have like different ideas and things, and they're looking for great partners. We heard about they wanted to shop around the Knights of the Old Republic IP and stuff like that as well. So that got Obsidian made their pitch, and Aspire made their pitch, and all that kind of stuff, right? So I think they probably may have had an idea for this and about, hey, is anybody interested in making a Blade game or something like that, and probably took pitches, and they felt like Arcane was probably the best fit.
Absolutely. And I mean, if Spider-Man set the bar, then we're in for if that's a quality that they expected, and we're in for a streak of very good games here. Because thinking about it, man, now that you mentioned about all the other, because people forget it's not just Spider-Man. There's about 3 or 4 other Marvel games that are in development right now, and these are all completely different characters that don't all that are not all part of the same universe. So I'm excited about that. I'm super, super excited about that, to see the fact that they are allowing these other devs. And I like the pick. Like, you think about who's getting to do what, it all makes sense. I don't think they really made a bad choice from a developer. If you start to think about, like, who's doing the obviously Insomniac and Spider-Man, obviously Blade and Arcane Leon, and then you got EA with Iron Man, the studio doing that. Obviously they got the Anthem ties, you got the mechanics already there. It makes sense. So I think they were real methodical about who they went out and allowed to do these games. So I'm super excited about Blade, third person action adventure. I'm all in on that for sure. And then I think the next one, obviously, I'm copying your list here for the most for the most part. No Rest for the Wicked, phenomenal. Moon Studios. You said everything needed to be said, bro. It was a super surprise for me. That art style is phenomenal. It was like a watercolor. It's hard to explain what Moon does. I don't know where they get I don't know where they get this, like, their ideas from for like art direction, and like it's like one of a kind, bro. You can't really, nobody's been able to mimic it. They really kind of made their own niche. And ARPG, you know me, Mav, I'm new to the ARPGs.
Mhm.
So for me, like, this is like, I'm through the roof with this, bro. Like, I want to experience this as soon as I can possibly experience. And the third one is I didn't hear a lot of people talking about this because I don't think they have any backing right now, and it's that game that the former Tango devs are making, that Kamuri or whatever that is.
The woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The woman
Kamuri.
that looked
For
extremely
Unseen Studios.
Unseen. It looked really interesting. I don't know what it is. Obviously, we didn't really get much information, but I don't know if they even have a publisher at this point.
No, they don't. They specifically said
Kickstarter.
that. I think she's shopping it, dude.
She might
I think
be
she just
shopping
went out there and just showed like that little
Was
sizzle
that
reel.
the demo?
Oh.
Like her demo, or essentially?
Yeah, well, they specifically said before she came out that they did not have a publisher, and I think that's exactly why they said that, so everyone can go ooh, and then she could probably get a publisher. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so next time we hear about it,
yeah, next time we'll probably hear that she's got a publisher under her. I'd imagine, because she
hope
did
so.
Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, so
Yeah.
she's got some great games under her belt.
Yeah, so that stood out for me. And then the Berserk game, the Kazan or whatever that game was as well too. That game stood out for me. I'm a big like anime-ish. That whole art style was really cool. So I think those are the 3-4. Hellblade obviously is there too. I think, like you said, Mav, I think it was the best showing game. We finally got some combat. A lot of what people wanted to see. The game looks phenomenal. It looks truly next gen. Mav, and I'll be honest with you, I thought I would never see another studio, and shout out to Umber for this, because he's a UE5 fanboy. I know he's in the chat somewhere. I saw him earlier, but I never thought I'd see another studio who is just as good with UE with Unreal as Coalition. But goddamn it, is Ninja Theory not one of the best studios for like, bro? I didn't think, like, because I always thought Coalition was heads and shoulders above everybody else using that engine, like being able to use that engine to its maximum. Boy, Ninja Theory has proven me wrong, man. I don't know how you feel about that, but Ninja Theory is right there, bro. They might be neck and neck with that engine, bro.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, what wasn't Remnant 2 UE5 as well? So like Gunfire Games.
Yeah, they were.
I thought it was, right? Yeah, that's another studio.
Hey, Overdose is going to be UE5. It said on that trailer.
Oh yeah. Was that? Well, those are metahumans, right? I believe in the trailer or something along those lines. They did some crazy capturing, whatever. They got some new, but you never know what Kojima cooking up. That camera might have been like a 36K camera or something. We don't know what he using over there at Kojima Studios. So he living in the future. But we'll throw this to you, Retri. Get your opinion. Like top 3 just games that were shown.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. There's no way I can't pick 3, dude. I'll do my best. For me, I agree. Exodus, very, very high on my list. The RPG from the ex-BioWare devs, which I guess their studio is called Archetype or something like that. So you got the guys from, Mass Effect. You got, some Interstellar vibes mixed in here with Mass Effect, Baldur's Gate, and the devs of KOTOR. I mean, I kind of feel like this Exodus game might be almost like they're tipping their hat to it possibly being a series of games. Like this might be another series, just like Mass Effect was.
Yeah.
Because I was reading some stuff about the guys who were making this game, and they were interviewed, and it feels like this is just one of many coming. And I kind of like the whole ripple effect, I guess, like a decision that you make, like, if you decide to go save someone, like, a planet away and the whole time delusion thing, and you come back and everyone you know is passed away because of, so like it feels like any decision you make in this game is going to be super, super heavy and has some crazy ripple effects. So I'm a big fan of Interstellar. I love that whole time delusion effect or whatever. The Celestials, the bad guys in this game, look amazing. So this game really stood out to me, even though I was making fun of Matthew McConaughey earlier, and I still didn't hear his voice in the trailer, so I'm confused. He either did a really good job on voicing whoever he's voicing, or we didn't actually hear him. But looking forward to that one. I think it, it's got the right people behind it, so I think that's going to be a great game. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say the 5 games that Sega announced in like 90 seconds with their little sizzle reel, dude. I made a video about this a while ago talking about Jet Set Radio and that some of the leak stuff, the leak stuff we got was 100% it. That's literally what I saw on that trailer. So that was legit, obviously. So the Jet Set Radio, we got Shinobi coming, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi. Plus they said more. So it looks like, to
There
me,
was an interview. He also mentioned Virtual Fighter as well.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Which was another hint. Yeah, when they were, all that stuff they sent out to the fighting guys on Twitter. So that's why I said I thought maybe Virtual Fighter would show up here. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that's coming. But I think it's exciting to see like them kind of take the whole Capcom stance on this, and seeing what Capcom did with all their remasters or remakes or whatever you want to call them. And I don't exactly know if these are going to be full-on remakes or remasters of exactly what they're going to be, but they all look pretty damn good to me, man. Especially Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio really stood out to me during that 90-second sizzle reel. So I'm looking forward to the Sega, IP coming back. That's been something on my list for a while. Oof, man, there's so much good stuff. I'll go with Game Science too, man. The Black Myth Wukong is just. I've been staring at this damn game for years, waiting for this to come into fruition, and just like the monsters and the aesthetic of this game looks really, really good. I'm super impressed with what a small team like Game Science can do. So I think Black Myth Wukong looked good, and I think I'll go off on a different note here. I'll pick my last thing here just so I'm not taking up too much time. But even though I wasn't a fan of their previous game, I'm not a No Man's Sky fan, but Light No Fire.
Hey, I was gonna
pretty
say
damn
that
good,
snuck in
dude.
there for me too. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was it looks really beautiful. It's supposed to be like multiplayer. I could see you could fly on dragons. So I don't know, man. Like it definitely stood out to me as one of their prettier games. Of course, No Man's Sky did back in the day too, and I kind of got fooled by that one. And when I played it, I was not a fan of that game. I know it's come a long way, so they obviously fixed it and did a 180 on that. But yeah, those are the ones. Looking forward to Zhao as well. The one from I think his name's Salim. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I thought that game, actually, the Zhao game, the side scroller, that looked like Ori to me. Like I've never seen anyone to be able to like get the visual representation that Ori does, and that's exactly what it reminded me of. I was like, oh my god, like Moon Studios is going away from that type of platformer, and then I watched the Zhao trailer. I was like, holy shit, like
The
this
ARPG is crazy though, dude. They went from
I
like
know.
that to an ARPG. I mean, I
That's-
understand it's not that far apart, maybe, but that's a crazy like left field.
No, that's a leap. I think that's a big leap for Moon Studios. So, and now I'm playing that day one. There's no way I'm not playing a Moon Studios game. I got like multiple Ori shirts. Like they're one of my favorite studios. But it's cool to see like these new guys like Salim like make his own studio. I think it was called Sergeant Studios. I can't remember what the hell it was called. And like just like these new devs. That's why this stuff, like this whole consolidation thing, it's never going to happen because everyone keeps pop up with new studios every 5 seconds. So I don't know, man. All in all, I could talk about all the different. I seriously have like 20 games that I thought were awesome, but I don't want to talk forever. But this show was fire, dude. I absolutely loved it. From the like huge games like coming out like Blade to just like the smaller guys like these side scrollers that I'm super interested in. So yeah, I'm hyped, man. Like gaming is looking real good. 2024, 2025 is going to be disgusting.
Awesome. Let's throw this over to you, Steel. Just get your opinion. Top 3, brother. And I know, Steel, you can be a bit of a tough critic, my brother. You know what I mean? And that's with all due respect, by the way. So I know all due respect, but I know you don't. You know what I'm saying? So, but what'd you see, man? It was a lot. Like I said, I think the big thing for me, Steel, before you get into it here, was the variety. I'm a big fan of variety, and I think that Keely's done a good job over the years of the type of announcements he gets. There's a little something for everybody. I think he really did a good job of that this year, to make sure there was a lot of big announcements mixed in with some middle size, some smaller announcements. So a lot of stuff for everybody. But what was your top 3 coming out of the VGAs?
My top 3 in the TGAs, I would probably give it to the first at the list is going to be the first Berserker Kazan. I felt like that was kind of it was an artistic masterpiece, as I would like to call it. I'm all about the combat style of games. There seemed to be a good amount of soul love here too, soul game love. And it seemed to be in that same breath with the over-the-top enemies, over-the-top combat, especially when I saw him grab old dude and just slam him on the ground. I was like, yeah, this is my type of time and where I need to jump in at. So that's number 1 for me. The second one is going to be because I fought with this a little bit earlier, and I thought it was going to be Black Myth Wukong. And Black Myth Wukong is definitely up there for me, but I put Black Myth and the first Berserker kind of on the same level. So that's like my 1A and my 2A, I would say. But number 2, I'd probably say Mecha Break, mainly because I'm a mecha dude, of course, and the transitional combat seemed to be extremely dope, going from being an aerial machine to then becoming a regular mecha or just a robot.
Thought it was Zone of Enders because of how fast it was. That's what I noticed.
Speed on
the
that.
Speed
the speed on them was crazy, dude.
For sure.
Crazy.
I mean,
the strafing.
It's so funny to me that a lot of people reference Zone of Enders because I actually tried to play Zone of Enders and I didn't like it. I didn't like.
Wow, that's crazy. That's just like what you just said.
I thought it was average as hell.
Wow, okay.
And it's an overhyped game to me. But nonetheless, I'm also an Armor Core fan. So like what I look for in mecha, I'm also a Gundam fan. So what I look for in mecha may be a little bit different. Maybe it's more because of Macross and Robotech when I was coming up too, where I have those references where it's just like it's different for me. But I get why y'all make that reference. And can see why a lot of that sticks out for those who are familiar with Zone of the Enders, for an example. But yeah, that was another main highlight for me. I want to see what that feels like. As soon as I saw that, I immediately was asking questions, trying to get set up for the alpha test. So that's apparently happening within the next week or so. So I'm excited for that. That one looks to stand out. It's a battle royale too, which I wasn't expecting. Which that's another extremely interesting thing.
The mecha game's a battle royale.
Yes, Mecha Break's
I didn't know that.
Really?
Look, multiplayer.
Dude, I did not
it's
know
a
that.
PvP game. Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
No kidding. I'm glad you said that. I had no clue about
I didn't know that
Okay,
either.
cool.
I thought I saw multiple mechs, but I didn't realize it was so fast.
They say it's free to play, or
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be free. It probably will be, just because that's been kind of a pattern. If it's an Eastern flavored game, and it seems to be,
Dude, you just made me like way more excited. To be honest with you, like I kind of I miss Mech Assault and kind of like playing against people. So, yeah,
it's definitely going to be a lot fast paced than Mech Assault for sure. But yeah, so that's probably going to be the second one on my list, and then the third one. Man, you're giving me 3, huh? Let's see.
Yeah, 3.
It'll be easy.
Like I did.
It'll be easy to say Hellblade 2. I am excited for that. Much more probably than most people, but I'm not going to throw that on the list. I think the third one that I'm going to have to put up there. Out of all these games that are listed here, I'm gonna say one different from what I said this morning, because Monster Hunter Wilds got me to re-download Monster Hunter World. So I got that back on the Xbox, got the DLC and everything for it because I dropped off before the DLC dropped. So that was cool. But if I got to give it to number 3 to somebody for reasons that I can't speak to, I'm going to give it to Suicide Squad.
Wow. Okay.
That's all I can say. So, but that'll
Okay.
be my 3.
That'll be 3. Okay. And shout out to, and I want to make, so G may be in chat. I want to mention this game too. Nobody's mentioned it, but that Windblown game made by the Dead
Mhm.
Cells developer looked great. Super graphic too, way more graphic than I expected. But I'm a fan of that, especially in that kind of game. And they know how to do combat. So that's another smaller game that I'm looking forward to as well. So,
Yeah, and that one's multiplayer too,
Yep.
man. So that's what has me
Yeah.
excited for that one.
yeah, same for sure. So yeah, Fuzz, where we at, man? We had a lot of shit to look at, Fuzz. We had a lot of, like I said, it was a buffet for everybody, a little something
Oh,
for
yeah.
everybody. So top 3 coming out of there, man. What'd you get?
Like I was gonna skip the Xbox platform ones because those are like the givens for me. And I was actually gonna mention Windblown because I talked about before. I just love the fact that like the hack and slash aspect and the fact that it's gory and you can slice off bunny ears and things like that. Like the Dead Cells creators, making this type of game was definitely looking forward to that as one of the games that's going to be played day one type of deal. I already know that I'm going to play, Hellblade 2 day one. That's a given. Like I love the first one, and this one seems like it's a lot of similar things from the first one, but a lot more variety as far as the weapon types and things like that, and just the overall environments that we're going to be going through. So that's definitely on the list. Blade's definitely on the list, but like those are kind of like the given. So I'll go to the other one. Being the sci-fi fan that I am, Exodus definitely looks like something I would be interested in day one. Now I know a lot of it was the CGI stuff. It looked a little bit like gameplay towards the end,
They
or like the second half.
they 100% showed gameplay.
Yeah, that was gameplay.
I went over that trailer
about
like
20
halfway
seconds
after.
into it. Yeah, about halfway
Yeah.
into it. They showed gameplay for sure.
So that one, especially considering the pedigree of the developers, although we've seen how Callisto Protocol didn't quite pan out the same, but I mean that game looked awesome. But it was just the combat loop or something like that that some people didn't particularly care for. But looking forward to this, especially with it being kind of like along the same lines of Interstellar with the time dilation type of deal. It's going to be a cool mechanic or interesting to see how things play out in that regard. Definitely looking forward to that. And then the one where the lady was a former dev over at Tango. I even already tweeted Phil and
that looks crazy.
They probably don't care, but,
yeah.
But it's like Kamori to me looks pretty interesting because it has like an animated kind of art style, and you're going to be in like it looks like it's going to be like the heart of the city as far as for Tokyo or something along those lines. And then you have kind of like the Fox window is where you'll see these beasts that you're going to fight that are like half human, half creature or something to that effect. And I think it would be a pretty cool game because you do get a little bit of like a Sunset Overdrive like vibe.
I was gonna say that too.
Yes.
I was gonna say that. Good
There's
point,
like a lot of parkour in that trailer too in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
so I would love for
good pick.
Unseen to have a publisher, and what better way to have Xbox continue to reach out to devs out in the East and get them on board. So I hope that that's something that we hear more of the development about with possibly Xbox ID at Xbox type of collaboration to kind of get that game the funding and support that it needs to get it to production. But no rest for the wicked. Another top one. Like I know I'm probably going past 3.
Oh, you're good, bro. You're good.
The fact that it's an ARPG, it's that already automatically appeals to me. But the fact that it's the some of the same visual styling that we saw in Ori, it's just that now it's not just going to be a side scroll. And the things that he's learned as far as how you have different like levels or different vantage points as far as things far in the distance, now jumping to the foreground and it being an ARPG, that's going to be interesting as far as the perspective as you're going through the world, because it doesn't look like it stays in that 3/4 top view all the time, but there's going to be times like I guess the boss battles are going to be like, oh, instead of it just being where they drop out of the sky, kind of like with Diablo in some cases, you'll be able to like the camera will shift, and I'm pretty sure the music and the pacing will definitely get your heart going, and then that's when that thing will probably chase you down, or you gotta kind of get ready for it to run up on you type of deal. But what I saw of that was definitely on the interesting list. But on the small side of things, like that studio, the Dead Cells creators with their game, and Komori, those are standouts for the smaller studio size groups out there. Exodus looks like it's definitely going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to get into. Another one on the big side of things, what do you call it? The Last Sentinel. Just because it's like a
Yes.
Judge Dredd meets
Yeah,
cyberpunk kind of
Mhm.
thing going
The
on. You
girl on
got
the
robots mixed
motorcycle.
in. Yeah, that intro. If the gameplay could be anything along those lines, as far as you riding your bike, hop off, shoot people, bust through doors, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm all for it for day one. But like we said earlier, this show was an amazing show for new trailers, and that reminds me, what was that whole nonsense communication about world premieres not being a thing anymore? But yeah, the world premiere stuff, this showcase, every game, even like the one about the that looked like a Pixar movie where the girl doesn't have hearing, and you're going through with the music and stuff like that. What was that? Yeah,
Harmonium? Yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
All of these games had a nice art style to them. Look like, I mean, you could tell there was a lot of effort put into these vertical slices and things like that. But a lot of these, I can't wait to see what the full on gameplay, and even some of the pre-rendered gameplay that they've done for a lot of these was amazing. So yeah, this it's a hard show. It's almost like I would probably say it'd be easier for me to pick one thing I didn't particularly care for, but
Yeah,
even
you're
that
right.
looked like the world of Goo 2 looked like that's fun, and that's probably
Yep.
one of the ones that's lower on the list kind of thing. So, but yeah, there was so many amazing things that we saw on there, and it's hard to just narrow it down to three. It's almost like what three aren't day ones would probably be easier to ask for me.
No, absolutely. It's a tough question to ask. Like I said, there's a lot to get through here. This show might run a little bit longer today because we got a lot to talk about. So we're gonna get into some more particular shit, but great breakdown by all five of us. And shout out to everybody in chat once again. You guys are fucking phenomenal hanging out with us tonight, man. Appreciate you guys for kicking it with us. Now I want to circle back around the map because I got a question, Maverick, regarding just the future of the Game Awards and kind of like where we would like to see it go, because our responsibility as gamers, and people fucking forget this, we're supposed to like share information and feedback, right, Mav? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Right? Like that's part of our responsibility as gamers, right? And we don't do that. We suck at that. We complain a lot. Like a lot of us do, right? Like, let's be honest, a lot of us just complain a lot. We're entitled. It is what it is. We've kind of built this fucking castle that we all live in. But I wish we would transfer some of that complaining to feedback. And I just kind of want to get into that part of just the Game Awards and like the future and kind of where we would like to see it go, the future. We've talked about it obviously in great length about like some of the cons and what we saw and like the awards portion of it, the human part of it. I don't want to linger on that too long, but it is extremely important that we highlight that though, man. So I wanted to get into that just a little bit deeper as well too about just kind of if you could give a tip or even chat, like what could we throw Keely? Like we need to put this on some type of like Word document and email this stat because there are some things that he could definitely clean up. So just kind of some things you would like to see in the future, man.
Oh man, so if I could have what I would like to see, I would like to see Keely take a backseat, maybe make one appearance at the beginning and have a host, take over the show.
So
That's
somebody else, not him.
Like a Jack Black would be amazing, dude. Like back in the VGA's, remember like Samuel L. Jackson used to host the VGA's and stuff like that sometimes. Like, and sometimes the hosts are good, sometimes they're bad, but like you have somebody that loves gaming or whatever, I think they could probably do a pretty good job of that. Keep it entertaining while you're also like not taking the center stage for yourself so much. You know what I mean? Like, I guess he kind of deserves it because he created it, but he's still reaping the benefits either way. So to kind of be that forward facing all the time and stuff is a little bit grandiose at times. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would like to see them take that next step and have somebody really entertaining actually host it, right? Then I would like to see less. This is gonna sound crazy to some, right? But they had so many game announcements here, and the trailers for the advertising is also like game trailers as well. So it kind of just like kind of blends into the show. I would like to see actually a few less of the smaller announcements and maybe do like some other kind of thing, another kind of show, or save some of those for like Gamescom next year or whatever you do. But you got to find a way to appreciate the devs, and the way that they're presenting the awards aspect is just, it's a kind of a disrespect to the hobby at the end of the day, I feel like. Now maybe he's taken a page from other award shows where they've kind of gone that direction also. Like you can watch the Grammys, right? And the
Yeah.
Grammys, is like 95% performances and 5% awards or whatever. But when those people receive those awards, they get a little bit of time, and they get to kind of have their moment, and it's handled in a much better way than what Keeley did with this. So there's a balance that you can find, and I think maybe he has to look at it and be like, okay, well, I may make a little less money if I appreciate the devs more, but ultimately maybe that's what's better for the show in the long run, right? Because the backlash that he's getting and the awards meaning nothing at the end of the day when they don't actually seem appreciated is a detriment to what he says the show's all about, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to see them have more awards, and especially if they're handing out so many in a side little segment, standing off the stage, not even giving the devs a chance to come up. You can have more awards that diversify the categories to make them make more sense. Like there's no way like Cyberpunk should win an ongoing game category.
Bingo.
crazy,
Like it just doesn't make any damn sense. Like if you want to say, well, and I've seen people, well, it had a big expansion this year. We're like, if you count DLC or
It's
expansion,
DLC.
where's the line
That's
there?
it.
Because literally almost every
Exactly.
game has add-on content these days. So is every game an ongoing game almost?
That was
Like,
my worry,
Yep.
Mav, is that this is going to set a bad precedence. Even with the whole like possibility, me and Pong brought this up. Shout out to Pong about a remake being nominated for Game of the Year, right? Like that was another
Yes.
thing that we
Yeah.
were worried about.
Resident
like,
Evil,
okay,
yeah.
like if you set the wrong precedence, like going forward, now people, you've opened that door, you got to deal with it. So that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up.
It kind of comes down to like the whole process and everything to do with the awards is just not, doesn't work. And then when they're presented, it doesn't work. And when they're, the acceptance speeches don't work because they're not having enough time. Like the entire awards aspect of the Game Awards is entirely broken, right? So he just needs to go and completely fix that, and have a few less of the smaller announcements and stuff like that. Have the big hitters because that's what's going to bring everybody. I don't mind some of the celebrities, especially the people that are into gaming, because it kind of brings all these different kinds of worlds together, and I kind of do appreciate that. But you also don't need to stand on stage with Gonzo. You know what I mean? So that just takes time away. So there's a little bit of the filler that they can get rid of, and then just focus on the importance of it all. Because that's one thing that some of these other, like the Oscars, the Grammys, they feel grand and they feel special because they feel important, right? They feel like the awards that are handed out feel like very important. The moments that happen, they all feel important. And if you diminish the value of of what the awards mean in the first place, then everything else just comes across as like just a marketing extravaganza, and that ultimately that's what it is, but it shouldn't be that obvious. You know what I mean? So he's got to fix that. I don't know exactly how. I would like to see one thing: the people that won the previous years should be the presenters.
That would be cool. The
Yep.
previous Game of the Year winner comes on next year and does the actual presenting. That would be
Because
cool.
you're kind of passing the torch.
Yeah.
You're also highlighting more developers, right?
And
It's
didn't they
like,
do that last time with It Takes Two to
They've done it with
didn't he
certain
come out?
awards at different times, you know, but like I feel like it's a moment, but like
It's not every year
Yeah.
though. Clearly,
yeah, because it's an
Yeah.
easy thing, like to set up, because it's like that you can tell how much these mean to the developers to get up when they get up there to be able to have that moment, right? So you have the winner from last year go up, and like it was a big moment for me winning this last year in our team, you know, everything we went through, and this means so much. And you know, now we get to pass on this honor to somebody else and a great game and a great team, and the nominees are, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
and they go through and then award the winner. They go up stage, you pass that torch on to them this year. It kind of writes itself as far as adding relevancy and importance to the weight of what that award means, you know? So, as opposed to whoever,
On
you know,
top
is
of maybe those two devs have never met before. You get a cool
Yeah.
moment, right?
yeah, for sure. That those kind of moments are really cool. The awards used to be done in a better way with on stage, right? But the reveals and the announcements have gotten so damn big, and there's so many of them that everything else is taking a back seat, which is I understand, right? But it should never be done in a way that takes that just ultimately disrespects the developers, and I felt like this show this year did.
Okay. No, that's fair. And obviously, like I said, we've kind of hinted at that and we've talked about that in great length already. But like that's the big thing for me, man. Being able to balance that out. The identity, Jeff figuring out what type of show do I want this to be? How do I continue to keep the check coming in? Because obviously none of this happens without the advertising and marketing dollars. And I think, you know, we can't have that lost on the conversation because, like I said, there's a logistics to all of this. And that has to be part of the conversation. But at the same time, if you want the prestige, I think that's what you're talking about, right, Mav? The prestige of the show, because that's what the devs care about.
Yeah,
They
you can't diminish the value of the award
Yeah.
itself. This is the Game Awards, right? You're
Yeah.
trying to make this the prestigious award to win, you know, because ultimately that's what's going to keep this show elevated. Because those announcements are going to come and go. Some years you're going to have less, some years you're going to have better, you know. But the relevancy and the importance of those awards should hold true, you know, like you could have like that's you see like Academy Award winner like Samuel L. Jackson, you know, not like on the trailers for movies, or like when they win an award,
You can
it means
distinguish.
something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Grammy winner, you know, blah blah blah. These things mean something, and I think it should mean something in gaming. Now, there's our awards that do mean that more behind the scenes, but they're not forward facing to the casual fans. We don't see a lot of that stuff. We don't really know who. I couldn't tell you who won Dice last year or BAFTA or Joystick or any of that stuff. I couldn't tell you any of the winners, you know. But we can look back and remember the Game Awards, right? And when they just diminish the value of them by one not giving them the proper time to accept the award and say what they want to say, have a broken system in the first place where the categories don't make sense. The fact that the show is even where the in December as opposed to January, February also like doesn't really make a lot of sense, right? But all these things combined diminishes the value of the awards themselves.
Yeah.
So
that's
Well,
what
the-
takes away his money if he does anything. Like he gets
Yep.
rid of those, gets rid of Hollywood, and he changes the timetable.
Well,
you can kiss a lot of that money goodbye.
Hollywood's fine. I don't even mind Hollywood because it's a form of entertainment, right? Movies, video games, those things are like naturally intertwined. I think we all understand that. I don't even have an issue
Yeah.
with Hollywood so much. It's just the way in which you present it. If it looks like if it looks like, Matthew McConaughey, that's more important than the actual game itself.
Well, it's
the
time-
game
it's
of the
time
year
allocation.
winner
All
with
comes
the
back to
game
that.
of the year winner, the big award at the end of the show when they only have 30 seconds. I mean,
Exactly.
You know,
That's my
insane.
problem with it. So
Yeah.
you can't fix this problem because, like, I agree with G-Man. This is not going away, guys. Celebrities bring in casual viewers. He says they are not going away. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
he says
I don't
he says
want them
I
to go
attended
away.
with Now he says I attended with some friends, one who wasn't a gamer, and she had a blast with all the celebrity appearances and musical performances. And to Keeley's credit, I know I gave a list that basically said you want to save time, you have to get rid of all that stuff, but they're not gonna. Like that's
Yeah,
never
no, they
going to
wouldn't.
happen. You know what I mean? It brings in too much money, and it brings in the casual, and that's great. But we can't sit here and bitch about the lack of awards and the presenters if we don't get rid of those things. Because I don't see another solution. Either that or the award show's 4 to 5 hours long. Because right now it's 3.5.
Mhm.
It's 3.5 hours long. So even though they say it's 3, it is 3.5 hours long because they're already giving awards out in the pre-show, which is 30 minutes before the actual show starts. So I don't see anything really changing. I agree with Mav. Like I'd like to see some more awards given out. Best multiplayer, I think, was kind of like BG3 and Diablo even being in there. I don't think when I think multiplayer, I don't think Diablo. I don't think BG3. It's just a weird one to me. But maybe like add best DLC, best remake. Remakes are not going away in this industry. We've seen the trend. They are healthy. They are going to be here every year. So make a separate category just for those. But then again, when you add more categories beyond 30 categories, you're taking up more time. Right. So this is like it's a really hard problem to solve, better define genres too. I'd like to see. We saw 120 panel members, in my opinion, get things straight up wrong that went to categories they had absolutely nothing, no reason to be there. And I just wonder, can't that get kicked back? Can't Keeley and his little panel go, ooh, this shouldn't be in best RPG. This shouldn't be in best ongoing. This shouldn't be in best multiplayer. And go, hey guys, like kick it back, like give us another choice because there's no reason that this belongs here. Those are the changes I'd like to see. But yeah, I think the show is already pretty long, like we were saying earlier. Some of us would like it to be an hour shorter, and that just seems like an impossibility when you have Hollywood there. You have live performance issues. You get Kojima going for over 8 minutes. And then you got these guys who are saying their speeches for 30 seconds or less, and many who aren't even there are not even giving a speech. So how the heck do you fix that? You know what I mean? PTK,
Yeah.
like we could scream all we want at
sure.
Keeley, but how the hell you fix this
we're
problem?
burning candles at both ends with this whole
Right,
video
right.
game award. So because it has to
Yeah.
be like the machine's already built, by the way. So I know
Exactly.
we're talking about the cosmetics. We're not even talking about what really matters, and that's the machine. Keeley built this to be profitable. He built this to be marketable. That
And
was
it's
the
very
intention.
profitable.
Like so that's the infrastructure. So it is what it is at this point. But if we could throw a little makeup on it, if we can throw if he said, you know what, guys, I'm gonna put up a virtual suggestion box, like what would you put in it? So still,
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
know,
love the show too, by the way.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
honestly, this
Mhm.
is one of the best times I've had in years watching this show. So
Sure.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you.
After all my complaints.
No, it is. I
I'm
mean,
okay with it.
we can do both. It's it's room for both here. So at the shop, but still, where you at on this, bro? I know we kind of touched on it earlier in our opening comments, but now that we're more into the weeds of the conversation, bro, like suggestions, bro, like going forward. I mean, we're super critical and things are gonna be the way what they are still. And I know all of that and the logistics and everything about that. But if you could just throw a couple out there for Keeley.
So just suggestions for him to make the show better overall.
Yeah, I would say just
I think-
anything, maybe clean up something or anything that you would think that he could tighten up on.
I mean, again, I think the number one thing is what I mentioned in the beginning, is just separating the show out. The show doesn't need to be 3.5 hours long. It doesn't need to be 4 hours long. And if you want to do awards and you really want to truly represent the gamers and the gaming industry, I think you definitely need to take the Hollywood element out of it. Bringing them in every now and then when they are involved in gaming, I think it's super dope. But the number one thing is maybe reaching out to more dev teams, reaching out to more people who are involved in gaming, maybe actually listening to podcasts, gaming community podcasts, and maybe getting those people involved, not just reaching out to your quote unquote professional friends, right? And saying, oh yeah, these are the people's opinions that really matter, because those aren't the people who play your games. Again, I think we got another good representation today of what people think they consider as professional gaming journalists. I don't know, what is that today? That might have happened during the show, but the video went around today with Destin feeling like he was put in a weird situation, and the people from IGN talking about games like they don't know what's coming, or they don't know what exists. They don't know what Game Pass is.
Being disingenuous,
making it come across
Yeah.
once again, like Xbox has no games. Oh, they only got these 2 games. But so again, you got to kind of start understanding, even Keeley himself, why people may see that bias there. I mean, certain things start coming blatantly obvious, and the only way to defeat that is maybe is definitely streamlining some things and also making it a little bit more diverse, I would say, for sure. And then the last thing that I'd probably put on top of that cake, just as the toppings, is having more categories, maybe or different categories for certain types of games, or maybe just having a better evaluation of the games that you even consider.
That's what it is. Still, it's not even. I mean, the categories are fine. Like the like title for title, like the title, that's fine. Like I don't think that it's what they fucking put in the categories is the problem.
100%.
It's not.
Like
so
it's 1,000%. It's just there's so many games that are out there. I just want him to be able to talk to the community, not be so far infatuated with himself where he feels like, oh well, we got the community vote here. Like, oh, when he says, oh well, the community's vote is like 10% of these votes, and it's like, why are you telling me that the professional votes matter more than it should maybe be 50-50? I think that would be a little bit more fair. But again, I'm not the person running it. He seems to be getting more eyes on it than ever before consistently. And again, I know he's going to hear the things that we said this year. He's continuously, the one thing that I can't take away from him is that if anything, the shows have gotten better.
They have.
I mean, like I can't ignore that fact. He is doing the best.
Production value is crazy good.
He's doing the best with what he thinks is right. It's up to somebody else to show him if there could be a different way to do it, or to kind of push him out of that way. And I don't think any of the other award shows right now do that, unfortunately. I don't know what it's going to take.
Not even close. They don't have that Rolodex. They don't have this. They can't call the same people he can call. That's the problem. So
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
How many actual on-stage awards were handed out? Was it like 5 or 6 or something?
I would have to say
on stage?
On stage, like people
where somebody walked up and accepted it, right?
It had to be. It was no more than 7.
I would have to guess 6.
6 or 7.
Guess like 6.
Yeah, like
maybe the simplest solution, the simplest solution to fix what a lot of us all have had issues with after watching this award show. Just extend the 30 seconds to a minute and a half. You're literally extending the show by 6 or 7 minutes, but then the whole conversation about the not getting time to accept is gone. Right?
Yeah,
then it would have been a perfect show if it was extended by 7 minutes. You know what I mean? Even 10 minutes. It's just like, what is 10 extra minutes? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, for these people to actually get to accept their awards. Otherwise, literally, there would be probably no complaining about anything. Yeah, that's probably the simplest solution. Just like the 30 seconds. Whoever came up with the 30 seconds, like, has no idea of what 30 seconds actually means. You know what I mean?
It wasn't just the 30. It seemed like there to be just miscommunication between the audio guy and like his cues, right? Like when you're supposed to actually, he's starting the music. Sam Lake was barely talking.
Yeah,
and they went full. They went full, and it wasn't even like a gradual. They went full blast, full volume halfway through his speech, and it happened multiple times, 2 or 3 times separately throughout the show. Like that's unacceptable. Like you can't. Not only did you not give them enough time to begin with, even without the bullshit in the middle of the speech, like you throw that in there, like that's like, come on now, you know what I mean? Like what do we got going on here, man? You got to tighten that up. Like you got to understand like why people are here. These people fly out here. I saw the video. I don't know if you saw this, man, but there was a live feed from the actual like Larian Studios when they announced the Game Awards, and they had this big giant champagne party in the office. Like this means a lot to people, man.
Yeah,
people work a long time and spend a lot of hours away from their family. Some of these people aren't making a whole lot of money, not as much money as you think. You know what I mean? These games are pulling in millions of dollars, but not all of these devs are getting cuts of that, and so you just got to make sure we know what's important here.
Yeah. Someone's saying why is it on a timeline anyways? Isn't it online? It's not like they run commercials and air it on. Yes, they do. They do run commercials. There's a ton of them
Yeah.
in that. And that's part of how Keeley makes a bunch of his money, sponsors and those Game Pass commercials. He did a lot of ads for games like Space Marine 2 and stuff that wasn't even mentioned during there. So there's plenty of ads.
Yeah, the Starfield commercial as well.
Starfield ad.
Yeah. All kind of stuff.
So
yeah. So I mean, you got to pay the bills, Retri, right? Like I said, at the end of the day,
yeah, no, he does. I respect the hustle, and look, this is like only people like Dutch can even like get a glimpse into the world of 1/10 of like what Keeley has done and what he does every year. It's insane the amount of work that goes into stuff like this. So hats off to him in that. This is not easy, but it would be nice if we got some more competition, someone else, that wants to step up and do another show that would actually showcase the actual devs themselves a little bit more. It'd be kind of cool.
That's a good question to ask the panel too. I'm glad you brought up that other show, right? So competition is weird in this video game space. We saw it with like Twitch, right? I think we all can agree. All five of us in probably the entire chat, Twitch, we feel like Twitch needs some kind of real competition, right? Like I feel like they absolutely need competition, right? They need it for themselves. They need to, that's for the mirror essentially, but definitely, like, what does that look like then? Like, if we're gonna say somebody's gonna step forward, still, Fuzz, Mav, Retri, like, what does that look like? Like, what kind of show does that look like?
Someone who loves to blow a lot of money because it's gonna take a while before they start making it back. I don't know. You'd have to get some crazy eccentric billionaire to step up, I guess. Go ahead, Fuzz.
I don't know if you need to have the billionaire, but you do need an organization that makes sense financially. Like I've said this before, like from the automotive standpoint, the SEMA show and the SEMA organization is kind of like what E3 organization should have been, where you have those in the industry contribute. Now, if you're a smaller, publisher or smaller studio, your contribution can be smaller, but you still get an equal vote to like the big dogs out there. So perfect example, Ford, GM, Chrysler, they contribute millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to SEMA for the SEMA show and some of the things that they do on the political side, so they can get some of the regulations in their favor for aftermarket or right to repair and all those other things. So if E3 took more of that stance where they had an arm that could be part of, the lobbyists out there for, certain things to allow for either less restriction on then again, this may not sound like the right avenue, but things like microtransactions and things like that, you'd have like some of these bigger contributors possibly willing to put into that. But on the flip side of things, when it comes to a show, all of those same companies are still contributing money to those things, and they're going to be represented there based on, floor space and what they're willing to pay for. And that's kind of where E3, I think, without them really doing the other stuff for lobbying, without doing the other stuff for marketing or things along those lines, they just straight up charge like these elaborate prices for stage space at like E3. If an organization, if you, not you, but if somebody was to create an organization that would be like what E3 should have been, more on par with SEMA, then they could be the ones running these award shows and be able to call up Phil over at Microsoft and Xbox for, what they might be willing to contribute, whether it be for advertising or, trailers and things like that. These nominations, are going to have some of them participating. So it's not just these 120 professionals that are in the gaming media. You have to have people in the industry contributing or part of that vocal voice for these categories and things. And it has to be like an across the board agreement where categories are situated the same way you see them in the stores. If a game is listed as an RPG in PlayStation Store or Steam Store or Xbox's store, it's an RPG. That's it. and that's how it would be categorized when that category is called out for that game. So you would need that type of organization that sticks to a set in stone or agreed upon format across the board for the platforms. Then when it comes to incorporating the fan vote, that has to be something where it's like almost like a third of the weight for these awards are based on fan votes. And you would need some of the technical know-how to make sure that it's not a bunch of bots that are doing the voting and things along those lines. But if you have an organization like, an E3 in that vein, they would be able to have a website that you can register for, maybe connect it to your gamer tag and so forth, to show that you're this legit player for these games that you can cast a vote for. That would make sense to me. Having some of the devs themselves, like peer-to-peer, which I think that's what DICE is all about anyway, have it where that's also a third of the weight for the voting process. And have some of these, the 120 professionals that are out there, although you can't have things like Metro. Like if you're known to be like a rag, kind of like a I forget what they call them, but like the inquirer kind of level of gaming media or gaming journalism, you're banned. No, see you bye. Don't even bother contributing. You're not allowed here until you show that you're going to show some balance or fairness in your evaluations. If we look over the past 3 years, you're constantly crapping on one platform for things that aren't really, that can be proven not to be game related. Like you gave Hi-Fi Rush a lower score because Xbox didn't have, games in a certain cadence over the past couple of years. Like that's not evaluating the game at hand. That's evaluating the platform, and that's not part of the evaluation process. So get out of here. And if IGN wants to continue to take, advertising dollars from PlayStation, and you can see that leaning or slightness as far as how they reference things, then they could be banned just as well. We don't need your contributions. If you're not, like, we don't want the consumers and the audience coming back to us about your BS. So see ya, hit the door kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it is a possibility, but yeah, who's going to step up to do something like that? And who, like the organization it would take to kind of do things along those lines? I don't think it would be hard for somebody to show how it would be financially beneficial for somebody to really take those reins, kind of thing. I mean, it's definitely a doable thing, but it would probably take 3 to 5 years at a minimum before you can have something solid up and running and get enough of the the industry on board to where this could be a platform for lobbying, a platform for marketing, a platform for awards, a platform for charitable things as well. Like that's the type of backing you would need. And there is plenty of money considering how big this entertainment industry is. There is enough money out there, but who's going to be the ones that are the part of the organization that are going to be able to fly out to Microsoft or fly out to Sony or fly out to EA or fly out to Take-Two and be like, hey, let's have lunch or let's have a golf outing and be able to smooth them enough to get those checks signed over. So that's the trickiest part. But I've seen it in the auto industry, so there's definitely things that can be done. But for my 2 cents for Keeley, his biggest thing is all the advice you give him, it's still not going to fix it if he's unwilling to step away, which I can't point a valid enough reason for him to step away. Because like if he's the face and the organize or all of the organization of all like the stuff I've been talking about, why would he step away like that? Because then you're handing your baby off to somebody else to take care of it, and 9 times out of 10 that's a bad or a worse decision that can be made. So it's going to be a tough thing, but he seems to be sharp enough to pick up on the feedback or the temperature. He may not move as well as we may hope he would move. Like we saw the knee-jerk reaction with judges long speech to be like 8 minutes plus, and now everybody's cut to 30 seconds. So next year, more than likely, there'll be a better balance. There'll be something like what I said earlier about the 2-minute window where you don't hear music until 1:30. That will probably be more of a possibility. And just like Mav said, if he had just added like that 10 more minute cushion or buffer to the show, I don't think anybody would really be complaining. And it would have, like, the 9s and 10s that we're giving them would have probably been like 12s and 15s out on a scale of 10. And that would have probably gassed his head up even further. But nonetheless, that would have made for probably a satisfactory show across the board, industry wise, as far as whether it's the devs themselves, the publishers, fans, journalists and whatnot. So I just hope that there's more competition that can step up. It doesn't look like DICE is interested really in doing that, because they're in their lane where it's peer-to-peer kind of evaluations, and that's probably honestly the best way to go overall. But us as fans, we want to be involved. It's just that I don't feel that we get enough of a voice in that. And when you do open it up to the fan base, then you got to worry about people creating 15 sock accounts and downvoting this and upvoting that. And there's not, I mean, it's especially in this day and age for privacy, it's hard to say, hey, the only way you can vote is if you link your PSN or your gamer tag or whatever the Nintendo Social Security number or your Steam ID and stuff for you to be able to participate and vote. But I almost think that if you're going to get the fans more involved, something like that needs to be put in place. And then the media.
I gotta interject real quick. We get the fans more involved. Do you think it's a PlayStation show now, guys? Just wait. You know what I mean? Well, like that makes me even more nervous to like give fans more of a say, because those guys are gonna come out in droves.
Well, I mean,
do you know what I mean?
But here's where that would kind of balance out, because if you're going to have it where it's linked to those accounts, they'll come out for Spider-Man 2s and things like that. But you're also going to have the Steam crowd where Baldur's Gate would have probably still squashed them. Like you're not selling 120 million copies.
That's a good point.
Of Spider-Man. You're selling 11 to 15 million, let's say. So if those 15 million come out to, let's say, the 30 million copies of Baldur's Gate that sold, and once again, all honesty, usually you're going to get about a tenth of the engagement of what was actually sold. Like, just like you see reviews on Amazon, not everybody that buys something reviews,
right?
Unless it's like that terrible. Then usually when something's terrible, they'll come out of the woodworks at a higher percentage. But I think it would balance it out, showing that, hey, you purchased Spider-Man 2, you played Spider-Man 2, here's your PSN ID, you get that one vote. Oh, but you also have an Xbox and you played Starfield, and we can verify that you played it. Okay, you get a vote for that as well. If you want to, like, if it's not in the same category kind of thing, but that would be the way to kind of balance things out to some extent. But that's a lot of technical stuff behind the scenes on websites, and I don't know if they really want to go that far. But I would, ideally, I'd like to see that. But I don't know. Like I tried to put my own little, categories together and all like a basic groundwork. But like I said, I know some of the stuff that would be involved from what I've seen in the auto industry. But yeah, that would be a full-time job and a half where I would be having to do something like 16-hour days for probably the next 6 years to kind of really get something going where we finally at like year number 6, it's barely on the level of like a DICE Awards or a BAFTA Awards, and whatever money is involved out of my pocket would be like in like a bottomless pit, and probably wouldn't see any return on that for years type of thing. So it is tough. And like you said, PTK, let's not act like we don't understand that advertising kind of runs this whole
we gotta
the financing and stuff. But I've rambled enough. I would like to see some change. I'd like to see more competition, but we got to figure out, like, as a whole, as gamers, what competition do we back, or which ones do we encourage to be that competition? And that's all I got.
All right. So Before we wrap this up, there's definitely a question that we haven't got to that I kind of want to ask everybody here on the panel. And shout out to everybody that's been rocking out with us all night. You guys are fucking awesome. Chat's been crazy. You guys been super active in there. Appreciate all the love and support coming through, especially after last week's hiatus. So shout out to everybody who came through. I need to know, right, who's the winner. I mean, we do the winners, losers, all kind of stuff, right? That's all subjective, right? We all won as gamers. I think we understand that. Anytime we can get a show like this, and we can all come together to celebrate. That's kind of the common denominator should be we all enjoy video games. So outside of that, I want to know who's the biggest winner coming out of the VGA. So we'll start with Steel on this one to mix it up a little bit. So who's your big winner coming out of the VGA, Steel?
Like, is this game overall? What
no,
game?
Just
like
in general, it could be a dev, it could be a game, it could be a publisher.
Just the big winner overall. Let me go through my little list here. I think the big winner overall, I'm gonna give it to Hellblade 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
I give it to Hellblade 2 just because many people have been doubting what Ninja Theory is capable of. And again, I get that the first Hellblade may not be for everybody, whether it be the puzzles, the combat, the walking side of it, although I don't understand any of those conversations personally. And I just played Hellblade for the first time last year. But to each their own. It's just amazing to me to see the growth that Ninja Theory has had, right? I went back and played Heavenly Sword just to kind of get a perspective, because I never played it before, just to get a kind of perspective when people are having those combat conversations. And again, no, Hellblade isn't going to be Heavenly Sword. It's a completely different time period when games are made, and it was supposed to be similar to God of War in a lot of ways back in the day. But I just wanted to see, and I know it's a different team there now too, mostly, but I just wanted to see if they even understood. I had some form of a baseline, and going through that game, I think I had a baseline. It definitely gave me a baseline of understanding. Like, I think they could improve combat in their second game. I don't have any reason to doubt otherwise. And is what I experienced in that first game, whether it be sound, visually, gameplay wise. They only can go up because they were working with much less before, and now they have the backing of Microsoft behind them, which is almost an unlimited budget. They got a brand new studio. They got their own mocap studio now also. The lady, I always forget her name, and it's so terrible to me, but the lady who was the dev that became Senua herself is now even more refined in that role. She's taken more additional acting classes that she spoke on, additional combat classes that she has spoken on. So it's just like all these things lead up to a head, and I think that's going to be definitely Xbox's biggest standout next year and a proving point of what is still possible for this generation. So yeah, that's why.
Good point. I like that. That's a little outside of the box. I wouldn't have gone Hellblade 2, but I understand. So I'm letting you cook for sure. You was cooking on that one still for sure, my brother. So I guess I'll go ahead and go out here. I mean, to no surprise, I'm going to say Xbox, obviously. I don't think that's a surprise at all. Just versus, right? So if we compare this to last year where we literally didn't see anything from Xbox, and we can debate all day why that was the case. Some people... a full conspiracy theory, I mean, it is what it is, right, Retro?
I don't think it's conspiracy theory.
I mean, it just depends on who you ask, right, Retro? You never know, right? You ask
70 billion. I'm not taking that chance.
No, I get it, right?
I'm sitting there with the puss on my face, just like Phil did, and go, "Yeah, we can wait.
Yeah, we can deal with the backlash. People are gonna be mad, but it'll be temporary." No, I feel you. So outside of right, understanding that, I think they came out and showed out this year, like from the Blade announcement, which was the worst kept secret, right, for the last 2 days, I would say. But it was still a big deal nonetheless, because it still hit. Like, we still didn't know what we were getting. We knew who was working on it, but we didn't know exactly what we were getting. So them giving a little bit of that, obviously that's a big deal. The Marvel thing's a big deal. Just the presence, the way everything that they presented was shown, right? Everything felt like it was important, and it should be there. Everything fit. There was no weird ass announcements. I appreciate that Xbox didn't drop some random ass like Sea of Thieves update announcement. Nothing wrong with Sea of Thieves or anything, but anything just random like that wouldn't necessarily make sense on that stage. Everything that they presented felt like it was big enough to, and it made sense. So I would say Xbox for sure. from marketing standpoint. You can argue all the you want, and people will, about the whole Blade not having the exclusive tag on it. It is what it is. And I told Mav this before the show. What's the worst case scenario in this Blade situation? Oh fuck, we all get to play Blade. Ain't that something?
Yep.
That's the worst thing that can possibly happen. Because guess what? One thing I don't have to worry about as an Xbox fan, I don't ever have to worry about Blade coming to Xbox. That's not a concern at all. If I'm going to play on Xbox, it's 100% guaranteed to be on Xbox day one, probably maybe Game Pass, probably Game Pass.
100% Game Pass.
So if you're an Xbox
No
fan,
doubt.
you don't need to worry. Now I understand if you're on strictly PlayStation, PC, or you're waiting on that Switch too, you might be sweating a little bit. You might be like, we might not get this thing. We need to ask some questions. Let them ask questions. Xbox fans, you don't need to do that. It's coming to Xbox. Sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. All right. So that's all you need to do in that standpoint. So I think, once again, just to put a bow tie on it, Xbox for sure. But we're gonna throw this over to you, Mav. Your big winner, brother.
Keely, man, he made so much money. Oh my god. It's like, how much money did he just make?
True
God,
story.
I can't think about that. No, for real though. I mean, as far as like, I just got to look at what everybody's been talking about, right? If you really, at the end of the day, when after the Game Awards, what is the conversation for the next couple days? You know what I mean? That's who won. That's who won, because you won the conversation points and you are the talk of the town, right? And ultimately that comes down to Xbox. Now, part of it you could say is because of the whole Blade thing, right? Going on with the Xbox logo and all that kind of stuff. I don't really care. I just care about people want to play Blade, you know, and it's obvious how many people want to play that game now, because everybody's freaking out trying to figure out what's going on with that, you know? So Blade and Xbox, Hellblade 2. Everybody's been talking about the Xbox games, dude. Either whether it's Kojima and the Overdose, or it's Hellblade 2, or it's Blade. Xbox stole the show. They're the big winners here, because people are pretty much mainly talking about their games. Yeah. So huge winners. I mean, there's a whole outside of our Twitter community and all these like YouTube channels and stuff that exist. So I'll just say, and the other thing is, the cheesy answer is the gamers, because it's just so many damn games.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna say
something there for everybody. Yeah, I mean, but for real though, it's true. Like,
yeah,
there was stuff in this show for absolutely everybody, no matter what kind of genre you like, no matter what kind of platform you like to play on, no matter anything. Like, there were games here for you to get excited about, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah, gamers won big time. And Keely, he's rich from this. Like, he's breaking it in.
All right, Fuzz, I want to make sure we get to
you. I definitely want to say Xbox as a whole, and the Xbox gamers as a whole, because let's just put it this way. If you're an Xbox gamer and you've been talking about wanting to see the combat for Hellblade 2, you got that. And we know that that's probably going to be, probably first half of next year. So we already have the roadmap kind of already shown itself, and it looks like it's fairly well polished already. There have been many that have asked for a superhero game, and we got that as well. And that was, while it may have been the worst kept secret, it was, I have to applaud the Xbox community just in general for the fact that it if there's ever a leak, like we've seen all these other leaks over the years, some true, some not true, and it's plastered everywhere. There's like 50 million articles written about it. Everybody's talking about it. It's in almost every post on social media. And everybody was like, mum is the word. Like, yeah, we had our little, hints and things like that, but it wasn't like blatant, like things have been in the past. So that in itself was like amazing to see. But overall, Xbox as a platform, Xbox as far as the community, the gamers themselves, I have to give it that, or I have to give that as a whole the win. And like Mav said, they're still talking about it. Whether it's exclusive, non-exclusive, things like that. And I put my 2 cents out there about with having Tina Meany, now from, former IGN employee, possibly teaching Xbox how to manipulate social media and to keep people clamoring for things and keep things trending and all that stuff. Now maybe the fact that the logos are left off might be the way moving forward, because what better way to have a non-Xbox fan still talk about your game in a positive way? Because if they put that Xbox logo, and I think even Colt said this, is like, if they had put the Xbox logo, well, the gaming media would have crapped on it. Oh, here's another game that they're stealing from PlayStation fans. Here's another game that, will. Oh,
no, they would have moved
by,
on to the Arcane stuff. They would have tried to somehow shit on Arcane.
Belittle
the last Arcane game with vampires was trash. So this one, So
and they already did that, by the way. I've already read the articles. Wrong studio, though, guys.
Yeah. But they would have probably had more weight and more airtime had they showed the logo and stuff. Like, we can now pick apart, like, it's the wrong, particular Austin or Arcane studio. And even if you look at what Austin did, they've stood behind that the other game, Redfall, and added a lot of things that the community had asked for. So this is probably the best turn of the tide, or the start of the turn of the tide, that we've seen in a long time. And I just look forward to what next year's Game Awards are going to be like. Like, we probably seen Hellblade for the last time at the Game Awards, other than when it goes for nomination for Game of the Year kind of thing. So it was like the perfect thing for the Xbox platform as a whole, I would say. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Retro, did we get to you, bro?
No, but
Okay,
I
go ahead,
will
bro.
say my cheesy answer, and it is Game Pass subscribers.
Yeah.
Not just gamers in general. Honestly, my eyes were really won out on this, because it was just a ridiculous amount of games. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of surprises. A lot of stuff I did not see coming came out of the woodwork, and that was great. But I'm happy really for like a studio like Tango Gameworks, like Hi-Fi Rush, winning audio design, and Remedy. Like, I was, Remedy their games don't usually sell a lot. I'm still curious to see what the heck Alan Wake 2 has, but good on Remedy winning like things like best narrative, because I was going to lose my mind if they didn't anyways. But I'm happy for those guys. You know what I mean? I'm happy for Xbox, and it's a new year and it's a new day, and now we're coming out swinging. So I say we, like I'm part of them. I'm not. I don't get any money from these guys, but I think it was a great show, man, for gamers and everyone involved. So I know I just crapped on Keeley a bunch, but I think he's kind of like the necessary evil too, because I look forward to this show, and I'm going to watch it every year. I'll watch it next year and the year after that. So, but yeah, it was a good time, man. Good time talking to you guys about this as well.
For sure. 100%. So, yeah, and I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note, chat. You guys have been fucking amazing. It has been another banner show. Like I said, these shows are always super good. You guys always show up and show out on the following weeks when we do miss. So I appreciate all you guys showing up, man, and all the people that are going to watch later on the replay. Thank you so much. Once again, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We do this every single week, so we will be back on our normal cadence going forward, guys. So see us every single Saturday, same time, same place. But let's get to the guests, man. First and foremost, my brother Mav, my cousin, brother, family member, whatever you want to call him, and I appreciate you, Mav, for coming through. Anytime I shoot up the bat signal, when you can, you always come through, and the people love it, brother. So once again, let everybody know, if they don't already, Mav, where they can find you at, brother.
What was it? Cousin, brother, uncle?
Yeah,
everything. Is this
everything.
Alabama? What's going on?
Oh, Lord have mercy, Mav.
I'm just kidding, bro. No, PTK, I appreciate you having me, dude. I feel the same way about you. And this is always a great time hanging out with everybody and just chilling, talking games. And the Shop Podcast on Saturday nights is always the best place to do it, especially on a Saturday. And like, absolutely love you. And Retry, you're amazing, dude. Always love your takes.
Thanks, brother.
And you guys are doing amazing things on your show as well. And Steel, I was so happy when I saw you hop in, bro. And Fuzzy, love you too, man. You guys are a rock. But yeah, you can catch Fun Speculation on YouTube. Shows Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I'll keep it simple.
Appreciate you, brother. Once again, you guys don't know, man, Mav is a rock star. Go follow Mav. Get on that train already. I know Pong ain't here for the obligatory choo-choo motherfuckers, but in his place, go ahead and jump on that train that is called Fun Speculation, man. They got a lot going on. Shout out to Caitlin, like I said before, all the FSP fam, Jasper, 3-Bit, Psycho, everybody. Appreciate you coming through once again, Mav. Thank you, brother. Always love to see you and have you on, man. So we're going to throw this over to you, Retri, man, another family member here at the Shop Podcast.
Absolutely,
it's been a few weeks, been a little while, but, you know,
Been
it's
a hot
always
minute.
yeah, it's all you
Yeah.
family. You know what? It's always
But I'm
familiar when
back.
we get you back on, brother. But I appreciate you chatting. Once again, like I said, show love, man. We always roll out the red carpet for the guests for taking their time. Go support what they got going on. But Retri, let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can find me on Twitter or X. I'm calling it Twitter. Game Pass _daily, where I talk about Game Pass all the time, and Game Pass Daily on my YouTube channel, where I make my videos. And you guys can definitely catch us every Sunday on the Gamers Council. Tomorrow we'll be with Randall Thor, the Black Viking, and Cole Eastwood,
Nice.
talking the same shot we were talking tonight about the Game Awards, what we liked, what we didn't like. But yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was super fun. I love chopping it up with you guys. Thank you, Mav, Steel Rain, Fuzzy, PTK. You know, you're one of my favorite guys in the community, man. So
Appreciate
anytime
you,
I can be
brother.
on here, I'll
Thank you.
absolutely come on here, man. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother. And Mav, people keep asking about the merger, bro.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
what is going on?
Your market cap is too high.
Yeah, man. I don't know. We got to work out the
Worth-
details, Luis. I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It's gonna be. We might get hit with a FGC.
Market caps.
Like, yeah, we might have to go in front of the judge and talk about this before we can do it, though.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. We'll talk to the investors and the board and see what they all think and
See
have
what
a
they
vote
think,
and
yeah.
stuff. You know,
We'll get back to you, Luis. It's pending. Okay, we'll just put it that way. But shout out to the gang. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. But you too, Retri. Thank you, bro. Like I said, coming
You
through. Hopefully you guys have a phenomenal show tomorrow. Shout out to your guests as well too, man. That's a big fucking show. So shout out to them, bro. And I'll definitely be watching in chat for sure. And then my brother, throw this over to you. Make sure we throw Pong in there too. Shout out to Pong. I know he was absent today. Pong's here in spirit, right? We gotta have Pong here in spirit, all that energy, man. We missed that for sure. But Mr. Steel Rain, man, we appreciate you. I shoot up the bat signal late, brother. Thank you for coming through, but you always show love, and I love having you on, man. One of my favorites as well. But let the people know where they can find you.
Hey man, I appreciate you sending that signal through. When I saw it, I had to definitely come through. I had some time. I've been playing a lot of here recently, a lot of Lego Fortnite with my youngest, who's
nice.
she's been feeling. It's so that's been interesting, and it looks really cool, man. It feels good. It's really dope to play. I usually not into those type of games. The last time I was into was Minecraft with my younger brother, and it was more so just designing stuff in his world, and that was pretty much it. But now I'm kind of in it from the jump, so it's going to be interesting to see. But you can find me, Steel Rain, everywhere. That T is a 7. Just type it in Google. It's probably the easiest way. Other than that, X and the by the way, just in case anybody thinks that that I'm sending subliminals or you got questions or anything like that, you can just hit my party chat. We can talk all you want, tell you exactly how I feel. We can go from there. Just to put that out there, because some people think, some people are strange. They don't know. So, but yeah, hit me up if you want to chop it up, talk, get some gaming in. I also got Monster Hunter World re-downloaded because again, that cheese from Monster Hunter Wilds got my juices kind of flowing. So I'm gonna be on the Xbox getting that back in. But anyway, yeah, live a split screen every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, and 3 p.m. UK time. And yeah, you can find Pong there too, along with his all these other magnificent places that I'm not going to repeat because it's just a little bit too long of an outro for me.
Nah, it's all good, bro. Appreciate you coming through.
Much love and appreciate.
So we gonna translate that. What's smoke? What he's saying is he don't duck smoke. So no duck smoke for at all for Steel, man. He's easy to find. So not difficult at all. But appreciate you still for coming through, man. Always love having you here. And you guys go check out Living Split Screen. Give it the love and support it deserves. We got goals to hit over there, people. So shout out to Pong, shout out to Steel, man. And then my brother, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, man. Another amazing show. We missed it last week. It's always weird when we do miss shows, but it's always good to be back. The follow-up show is always fire. So shout out to the people that came out, brother. But let everybody know where they can find you, Fuzz.
Oh, just thank you for having me on.
Everywhere.
It was definitely a fun episode, and love it when we have special guests. Love having Mav on here. Love having Steel. Love having Retri on here. You guys are always awesome. Always love your takes on things, and just hearing your thoughts and feedback on stuff is always a treat. Thank you guys for coming through, and thanks to everybody in the chat for showing up, interacting with us. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us. If you haven't already, definitely hit that like button. It's always greatly appreciated. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on Double Barrel Gaming, Xbox Lunch Break Special Monday at 12 noon on Double Barrel Gaming or Mr. Boomstick's channel. Then later that evening on Mav's channel for FSP for Fun Speculation. Basically, all 3 platforms, or actually 4, because we also play on PC as well. Want to hear our takes on the latest news? Check us out at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mav's channel. And then back here next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to seeing you guys on the Shop Podcast. Join us then as well. And have fun gaming this weekend, guys, because there's a lot to be had. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, Fuzz. And once again, I want to speak on Pong's behalf, man. You guys go follow Pong as well, too. All his information is down in the description, man. But your host here, PTK Blam, like I said, go follow me. All my information is down there. I just, once again, want to say I appreciate you guys, man. I can't say it enough every single week. Even through the ups and downs, the hiatuses, breaks, things like that we take, you guys still show up and show out every single Saturday evening. The show gets bigger. More subscribers, more members, guests, whatever you want to call them. You guys are family, really, at this point. So you know what it is. I appreciate all the support. When it comes to play some video games, hit me up as well on Xbox. I went and upgraded my headset. I got a brand new headset now for wireless and everything. So,
Nice.
you know, decided it was about time for me to upgrade. So I'm back on. I'll be in party chat tonight, talking, playing, you know, having some fun. So you guys head out. Play some video games. We will be back next week, same time, same place, more guests. I'm cooking up some cool stuff behind the scenes, so you guys stay tuned to that. But other than that, appreciate you guys. We are out of here. Peace out, everybody.
Later.
Peace.